So, welcome everybody. Welcome to the Salty Pub. It's going to be one of those days. Thank you. Welcome everybody. My name is Paul Berserker01 Batman Shelley, your humble host and space bartender here at the Astro Pub, your space bar at the end of the universe. Sit back, relax, enjoy the show. We got a good one for you. How y'all doing? One might say slightly annoyed. So this isn't one of those things that I'm super angry about. As much as I'm sure some people will want me to be angry about. But the reality is it's going to be one of those things where it's going to be, people are going to get mad about it soon, pretty quickly, and then people will forget that it exists. Design for buyback date? Yes. I'm going to have, as many of you probably would guess, knowing me long enough, kind of a nuanced take on it. But I'd actually do a capsule on it, because I think it's important to do this in terms of what I tend to do, which is overanalyze / exactly correctly analyze what's actually going on. I mean, that is a good way of putting it. Star Citizen Chili, or Citizen Chill, is that it's definitely confirmation that Squadron 42 is coming out. Like, I can tell you right now, they're going to announce Squadron sometime between the end of Invictus and Steam's or the Summerfest. And it's going to release in October. My guess is the first or second week of October. I am Black Sheep. I am 100% responsible for it. And if they want to get really mad, know that I'm also the reason why their favorite ship is either busted or not fully released yet. And if they want to feel less mad, they can pay me money. You heard that. All of your problems are my fault, and they can all go away if you pay me lots and lots of money. Because that's how we do things now. Pee pee poo poo. I expect you coming in swinging knowledge. Not the pee pee poo poo. It's just gonna be the drama of the month that the next comes up. Well, I'll give you a little preview of what we're gonna talk about when we talk about the buyback gate. This is CIG doing business things. They did this exact same thing when it came to stop selling Squadron 42 packages. They just sort of stopped doing it and then told us afterwards. Or it was like they told us the day they stopped doing it. There was like no warning. It just suddenly got pulled. I remember, if I remember correctly, they pulled it and then no one knew what the fuck was going on until like a week later, Xylo said something. And I heard a take by excuse me. Oh. Had some homemade ice cream, so I'm a little bleep. Let's see if I could find the person. It's somebody that I used to talk a lot to. that I haven't talked to in a while. Not bad, but I just can't remember the name of them, their name off the top of my head. Ray's Guide. Remember, his name finally popped in my head because I remember him as Danny Raymond. No, what See Daddy said was in chat. There's actually some screenshots running around with it. Was that he was not told about it. That was news to him that this was happening, and he was going to look into it. But Ray's Guide said about the original Squadron 42 being pulled from the store was that he was anticipating that this was going to be a coinciding with an announcement of Squadron 42's release date at that CitizenCon, which was the first CitizenCon back. It was like 2023, I think. And based off of my sources, this is not a confirmation. This is just more of a talking with the people that I know at CIG on the higher end. Because they're very, very careful talking to us, when talking to me at least, when they talk about stuff. And I've talked with other content creators who've had contact with them, and it's similar. It's kind of, they're very cagey. It was pretty clear that CIG was planning on releasing Squadron 42 in 2025 or 2024. And something happened and they had to push it back a year. At least internally, they were pushing that direction. Higher ups probably only told a few people within CIG that it was happening to prevent leaks. Yeah, that would be my take as well. But CIG did that. The reason why Ray talked about like why they did it was because Ray was like, CIG clearly wanted to prevent scalpers from bum rushing Squadron 42 at a lower price if they made once they made the announcement. So if they just pulled it randomly on some spring day in, I think it was like May or June of 2023, then there was no prep time for people to like for scalpers and gray marketeers to buy a bunch of packages that they could sell them at cheap. This is a money-making decision. This is a pure profit-driven money machine that CIG is doing. This is naked capitalism. And legally, they're probably entirely okay. Morally, I think it's fucked up, but we'll get into that. Okay, then just prevent gifting them. Then ghost. That's not going to solve their problem because they make money off of the gray market. Like, literally, they make money off the gray market because people will buy ships for specific LTI or for other things and then sell them on the gray market. So people are buying ships on speculation that they'll be more valuable later and selling them on the market. Even if they don't sell on the market, CIG doesn't give a shit because they're check cleared. Yeah, this was an attempt, a pure capitalist-driven, money-driven. If you're gonna buy the game, you're gonna have to buy it at $60. The house always wins. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to say some nasty shit. Like, I will say what is legal isn't always moral, and I don't think CIG did the moral thing, nor the thing that is within the traditional way that CIG has both talked with us and promised to talk with us that they have fucked up multiple times in doing so. Sometimes they do, but I would say it's about a 60% success rate where they're like, yeah, we're going to give you a heads up on price changes and when things are going to be available and that kind of stuff. Nah. If CIG is smart, they'll do a $59.99. I've already said this before. If CIG is smart, this is free fucking advice, CIG. Since I know you have like 2 fucking brand managers at your goddamn team, and I barely have heard anything about your marketing team other than your advertising team. That's not the same fucking thing, by the way. And that's me talking to CIG, not to you. I'm sure you know, because you're handsome and smart. That's why you watch me. But $42 pre-order. All of the accounts that have purchased Squadron 42 before the announcement with the pre-orders automatically get the digital deluxe edition, which is $70, $80, maybe $90. The pre-order $42 will go up to $60 within 1 month within 42 days of the release. And then there will be a $110 combo package, which will have Star Citizen access, a bunch of other cool shit. Free shit in Star Citizen if you buy it. What I do think is CIG should allow people to buy back these pledges in certain amounts of times after Squadron 42 launches, and they can just remove Squadron 42 from that point. I think they should have just made it only credit. Because if they make it so you can only purchase it back in credit, then you can't sell it without selling the account. That's a lot more of a pain in the ass. Is this witchcraft? Kind of. It's more of me going, this is what CIG should do to release the game, because when your marketing strategy or when your buying strategy or your sales strategy is also a marketing strategy. Because what CIG wants to do is run lean as fuck when it comes to their marketing. And if you want to run lean, you want to make every aspect of your activation be its own mini marketing machine. So pre-selling the game at $42 until 42 days before the release of the game, that's a fucking headline. Someone's going to write that headline on a website that's going to get somebody's attention that doesn't know what's going on. There's for 42 days you can get Squadron 42 for $42. You know. Yeah, see, we're going to get into that when we do the capsule. But the big thing is this is fucking over a lot of people who had Star Citizen because they had a Star Citizen package, not a Squadron 42 package, and now they're locked out of rewards that they're being basically fucked over for being good fans, for being loyal long-term fans. Well, not loyal, but like long-term fans. But, yeah, CIG is not going to do that. They're going to sell it at $60. Some people keep saying it's going to be $79.99, and then I keep hearing other people say, "Well, that's more realistic." And then when someone like me says, "Well, no, probably $60," they'll be like CIG, and then they'll do like a deluxe edition at $90 and $120. And they said, "Well, this is their first release. They didn't have earned the right to have a special edition." And it's like, but they have the right to sell it at $80? A game that from a company that no one knows? Yeah, that's also true. The average person who bought an Aurora in 2012 fucked off and did nothing. They don't have it in a buyback. It's in their actual account. The reality is that this is only going to affect a very small portion of hardcore fans. But generally speaking, this is not from an experience point of view, because I didn't do PR, but I gather pissing off your hardcore fans isn't something you usually want to do for PR, especially when it's blatantly for money. I don't know if you've been through you've been aware throughout the day. CIG monitors have been purging the Spectrum thread. This week they're going to be on massive PR fire control. That's the reason why they did it now. They did it now so that when everyone will forget within a month when Invictus comes. Because let's be fucking honest. Let's be totally fucking honest. Nobody will actually give a shit in 2 weeks. You'll bitch and moan now, but you won't give a shit in 2 weeks. You'll forget that this whole thing existed in 2 weeks. Some of you may not. Knowledge won't, because knowledge has an encyclopedic knowledge of CIG's fuck-ups. But the vast majority of the community that's making them fuck tons of money, they don't give a shit or won't know, won't care in 2 weeks. I'm amazed how many people are defending this anti-consumerism. I'm not defending it, but I am saying I understand what they're doing. I understand what they're doing and why they're doing it. I just think it's shitty. I'm mad as hell. Ooh, ironclad. Exactly. They'll remember the Squadron 42 is like the retail game price they now have to pay. A handful of people will actually. This is affecting a vanishingly small but loud portion of the community. They're black sheep. Let's be honest. The majority of people either made sure that they always had Squadron 42 on their account, or have multiple fucking copies of Squadron 42 already in their account. The reason that this is affecting the people who are playing the CCU game and playing the discount games. CIG basically just took a shotgun to the legs of every single person gambling on the gray market. Hopefully C-Daddy wasn't reprimanded for not knowing his job was usurped from the inside. C-Daddy's usually pretty good about at least being upfront. So the fact that C-Daddy was blindsided clearly from the chat logs, I don't think he knew about it. This is very much a top-down decision, just like the Squadron 42 being pulled out of the off the site. We still don't know what the fuck why. We still don't know why Squadron 42 was removed from the site entirely. Remember last week you said it was a mistake. I said, and I remember this correctly, because you said you were going to bring this back up. And I said, I don't know anything. All I know is what C-Daddy has said. And C-Daddy seemed to imply it was a mistake. So I'm going to trust C-Daddy until I have more information. Now I have more information. And I think it's shitty.
You can take away my spaceship. You can take away my space suit. You can even take away my space lasers.
No PPUs.
But you can never,
ever
take away my space game.
Monstratus just resubscribed for 49 months. Hey Astro, I will take 2 of your hardest Magnus beers, a cinnamon roll. Do you accept UEC?
Well, you're
smiley face.
your Imperial credits aren't worth anything here. Monstratus, how you doing? You had 49 months. You're very important, Papa. Very impressive, but very pedestrian. This is your fault. There's been drinking night. Shots and tears in chat, y'all. Shots and tears. I don't give a shit right now because if you want Squadron 42, you have it. If you don't want it, if you don't want it, you have no reason to be mad. They even said that the issue is regular buyback was a caching bug. Okay. Well, the problem I have, and I'm already going into the capsule, which I should probably just do here in a moment. The problem I have is that fundamentally, this is going to fuck over people who have Squadron, who are early backers of Star Citizen, not necessarily Squadron 42. Because my earliest account, which I melted for another account that had Squadron, but, you know, I was like, I'd like to get it back at some point, was a 315p package, or no, a 325a package that had Star Citizen Squadron 42 in it. Now, if you had a package like that had little goodies and had a little extra add-ons because you get like a Kickstarter and stuff like that, and you melted it thinking, oh, I'll buy it back later when I want a little bit later, that sucks. That sucks to be like, oh yeah, by the way, fuck you, without any warning. That's shitty. At the same time, you were gambling. Everyone was gambling. And when you're playing dice with the devil, don't cry foul. And you're playing dice with the devil. You're playing cards with when your opponent has loaded hand. You're playing cards against the house always wins. This might be off topic. For some reason, this was reminding me of the concept sales, and I really miss concept sales. The whole price markup felt good as fuck. Black Sheep, I have an original Banu Merchantman. $250 Banu Merchantman. Is your problem that they didn't give you a warning, like you prefer 1 week warning before they did it? Yeah, I prefer like more of a week, like some lead up time. And I know that they're like, well, what about, resellers? Just make it for credit only. You can only purchase it buy it back with credit. You cannot purchase it with actual cash, which means you can't trade it. So letting people get back their accounts for credit for a week only and announcing that would give people a last, just like, this is your last chance. And then if someone shows up 2 weeks later, it's like, well, I wasn't available. It's like, well, then you don't get a fucking chance. Like, oh yeah, it's pure capitalism knowledge. It is pure capitalism. As I said earlier, this is a move designed to get more sales for Squadron. Squadron has not been on the site for years now. Seems like a good warning. But here's the other thing that I'm going to tell you, Parker. This is going to happen again. It's going to happen at least 3 more times. And I guarantee you, CIG will give you 0 warning. Because they're going to experience 0 pushback, 0 consequences for this decision. And because they're going to experience 0 consequences for this decision, they're going to continue to do this. They're going to do it with CCUs. They're going to do it with regular ship buybacks. And then they're going to do it with package buybacks. They're not going to say shit. They're just going to pull that shit out of the buybacks, and you're going to get fucked. And your CCUs, that's probably the 4th one. Your CCUs are going to get fucked too. And it's not going to be, at 1.0. No, it'll be like 7 months before the 1.0 release. They'll just go through and just fucking axe them and be like, but fuck you. Here's your money back. Go fuck yourself. They'll do that. They will. Why? Because they want you to pay full price. Because they're a company. Like this is like a nice little reminder that CIG is a business, and the business only matters in terms of making money and keeping themselves alive. They're better than a lot of companies, especially gaming companies these days. But they're still a company, and they're still going to do shit that's going to benefit their bottom line. Oh, 7 answer. What's to say they won't do that? They will. Like, this is my point. You know that meme that goes around financial circles of what's his name? Murdoch, I think. Yeah, Warren Buffett. It's like a picture of Warren Buffett with a quote. It's like, freak the fuck out and panic. Sell everything right now. It's fucking over. Warren Buffett. Like, that is me right now. In fact, I made this meme in response to all of this because I could see the writing on the wall. It's this. Freak the fuck out and panic, buy everything right now. It's fucking over. All your shit's gonna get axed. All your buybacks are getting fucked. Your limited edition ship you have in your buyback, fucked. Your LTI token you have in the buyback, fucked. Freak the fuck out and run. Yep. The sky is falling. Everything is fucked. Get out now before it's too late. Some warning would be good, though. CSG's not going to. That's my point. The fact that CIG has done this now twice with Squadron, and they've had no fucking consequences for it, they're going to do it again. They'll do it with your limited edition chips. They'll do it with your buyback CCUs. They'll do it with your discount game packages. They're going to do it again. Eventually, they'll go for your active CCUs. They become the thing they swore to destroy. Yes, they've lived long enough to become the villain. Starts to chill. It's an old joke in the investment community, which is you spread around the rumor that Warren Buffett's like, freak the fuck out and sell everything. It's fucking over. To get people to freak out because they listen to Warren Buffett, and they think like if he's pulling out, that everyone's going to pull out. To try to get people to pull out and cause a panic buy. People do it as a meme specifically to try to cause a run on the market. Partially because it's funny and partially because they want to buy the dip. That's why it's become such a meme to have, like, Warren Buffett said, we've got 2 months away from total financial disaster. Because it's like people are trying to manipulate the markets. Joke's on you, I never pull out. And that's why Toma is the proud father of 36 children. Yeah. Oh, you need to put it in first. Damn, son. You think it's fucked right now? It's more than fucked. Imagine it's being 10 times more fucked than it is right now. That's how fucked it is. No, you're 100% right there. Beskar Nightshade. Only by the base game, speculate on digital chips is something you can earn game in at 1.0 is nuts. Yeah, it is absolutely insane. It is something that your average person should not do. Yeah, that's one of the biggest issue is not necessarily the Squadron. It's that a lot of these Squadron accounts are linked to Star Citizen accounts, Star Citizens with like specific ships, because some ship accounts had specific cool digital stuff, like, you know, jackets and suits and stuff like that. That wasn't in the game when a lot of people melted those things, and some of them still isn't in the game when they melted it. So they're just like, why keep this account, which or this package, which doesn't give me my cool accoutrement. Even though I got it for the cool accoutrement, so I'm just gonna melt it, get something else. No, they haven't gotten rid of all the buybacks. My point, Lord of the Drip, is that they will. They've only gotten rid of any buyback that is a Star Citizen Squadron 42 combo pack or a Squadron 42 pack. We're going to do the read through. Do y'all want to do the capsule? Now to spend some time. Let's do the capsule. I'm trying to do this in a way that isn't like, because this thing is very fucking annoying. This little sidebar. See if you can see it. Yeah, you can still see it on the side. It's all right. Nothing really here. All right. Exactly. Basically, if you had an account, if you had a game package between 2012 and what was it, 2018 that you melted, you're not getting it back. All that shit's gone. I'm about to ruin my kids' Friday morning by eating an entire box of blueberry Eggo waffles. That is awful, dude. You're gonna steal their Eggos? No, 100%. 100%. And CIG is counting on that. And Kitsune. All right, let's do this. I'm going to be kind of rambling a little bit for this one. Hello. Good to see you here. Welcome back to another Office Hours capsule. And good news for this one. It's a suppository. Welcome to another side, a little small segment of my Office Hours live stream that I call my Office Hours capsule. This is a small segment where we talk about Star Citizen lore, news, and more. And today is drama. But I'm going to add a little twist, a little conspiratorial twist to put everything into a row and show you why everything is going to suck in the next couple of years if you're playing this dice game with the devil with CIG that is called the buybacks. So, those of you who don't know, on Friday, people began to realize that some packages that had Squadron 42 were not able to be purchased. We only had one information at the time, which was C-Daddy CIG, who's one of the platform folks, and one of the people who would know about this said, that's weird. I didn't do this, so I would know about this. I'll look into it. And we hadn't heard anything from C-Daddy until today, when CIG, specifically Xylo, the head of community at CIG, the guys and gals who make Star Citizen Squadron 42, made an announcement about the buybacks. So let's read that word for word so we're not misconstruing what was said, and then we'll go into what this actually means. All right. For more than a decade, Star Citizen has supported the flexibility to melt buyback and adjust pledges for the project as the project evolved. The buyback system was introduced as a support tool to help handle the number of tickets we used to receive asking to undo an unintended melt. Over time, it evolved into a service the community has also used to manage fleets. We have always cautioned that once the fleet ship is melted, it's not guaranteed that it can be bought back at this, as circumstances change. For instance, when something is permanently removed from the store or part of a promotional bundle. The buyback queue should not be used as to park ships in bundles at their original price for future use or for profit on the gray market years down the road. It's important to note right now that specifically he's talking about the gray market. And I'm glad that he says it because this is really what it's about, and we'll go over here in a moment. Recently, we made the change to disable buybacks for Squadron 42. This was intentional to address something the system wasn't intended to support. Squadron 42 was offered in a variety of ways in the early days, but it was always meant to stand on its own as an independent AAA experience. It was removed from the store several years ago, both as a standalone and in packages, and buybacks were never intended to work around that. We've also seen some confusion over the last few days from messaging that suggested broader buyback restrictions for Star Citizen. This was caused by a caching issue that displayed an incorrect error message for some. It did not actually restrict any buybacks, and a fix has already been deployed. As preparations for Squadron 42's release continue in the background, we'll keep taking a closer look at systems like buybacks and share more as we have updates. And you can tell by the number of emojis, nobody really likes this. I'm not going to go over all of the comments because that would just. I try to restrict myself from Spectrum because Spectrum is a health hazard that everyone should avoid for long distances, similar to Reddit. But the idea is that people aren't happy, and from my personal perspective, rightfully so. This was a shit move by CIG. This is one of those situations where CIG is legally allowed to do what they did, but ethically and morally kind of messed up, especially after CIG in the past has said that they were going to keep us informed about major changes to pricing and to availabilities in the future. Xylo had a very similar post about a similar situation many years ago and said they were dedicated to kind of telling us these updates as they went. So a lot of people assumed that we would get at least an update of when we should not be able to buy back Squadron 42. I don't think anyone was waiting in the wings for Squadron 42 buyback to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to get all this stuff in Squadron 42 and then I'm going to get it back so I can get it after the game's released. I can get it super deep. I think most people were simply melting their stuff because the stuff that was in those packages was typically stuff that wasn't released yet. So people were melting it to buy other things that were released and we're going to come back and get it later. I know a lot of folks who did that. And specifically, a lot of these packages were Star Citizen based with Star Citizen ships. So this is sort of CIG is trying to kill the gray market pre-order sort of situation ahead of time, specifically so they can make more money. And people who are playing the buyback game got caught in the crossfire. Now, I want to be clear. This is a pure, unbridled, capitalistic move. This is CIG 100% trying to maximize their profit with pre-sales of Squadron 42. And this is not the first time they've done this. A couple years ago, they took, as Xylo said, they took Squadron 42 off the store. Why did they take it off the store? Because they were planning on releasing it at full price. Now, we don't know what full price is. The last we heard them say anything about full price was going to be $60. So $60 is $15 more than $45. And if I remember correctly, based off of my recollection, and I think chat's recollection, because I would talk about this a little bit, they didn't give us an update on Squadron 42 either. They just pulled it from the store and didn't even give us an update until a couple days later, similar to what Xylo said. Oh yeah, we pulled it because of a lot of different reasons. But they just yoinked it from the store without warning. And Ray's Guide at the time had a very good point, which was you only do something like this if you're trying to undercut the gray market because you want to sell the game at full price. You don't want people hearing the announcement of a Squadron 42 release, running to the website and grabbing a cheap copy before you can get it to a full price. So this is 100% CIG having their cake and eating it too. And I've heard some people, why not just disable gifting? Because CIG makes money off of gifting. When people buy ships on speculation of what it's going to be, they make money off of that. They don't want to turn that tap off. If they could have turned that tap off years ago, they still haven't. They make money off of it. Sure, it's also because players can get a chance to gift things. Like, I do like the fact that I can gift ships and stuff like that to people if I purchase it myself with my own money. 100%, I like that. But I also understand that the reason why that exists is partially for the benefit of the players and partially for the benefit of the resellers who will constantly come back and buy at full price from CIG or give them cash injections when they need it. This is like, again, I'm trying to not mix words with this. This is 1,000% CIG wants more money and they're going to charge you more money. Overall, is this a big deal? Yes and no. Immediately, it's a big deal. In 2 weeks, and I'm not trying to be cynical here, this has just been my experience with not just Star Citizen's community, but the gaming community as a whole. All of y'all will forget this in 2 weeks. This video will barely get touched in 2 weeks after it's been put up. This is in the moment. People are mad, rightfully so. CIG is doing something shady. And then, ooh, shiny ironclad. Ooh, shiny battlecruiser. Like, no one will remember anything when come Invictus. And I'm sure that's the reason why CIG did it now and not in June, in May or June, when they were planning on announcing Squadron 42. And this should be a warning. This is a warning to everyone who's playing the ship speculation game. Get out now. Because this is where I go into conspiracy theory territory, but when the fucking dominoes are stacking, I can only call the shape when I see the shape. And the shape of the dominoes at this point says CIG is going to do this again. They're going to probably do it in stages. The first thing that they're going to do is, as they get closer to 1.0, probably next year, they're going to get rid of all of your special limited edition ships. So the ships you can only purchase at specific times of the year, if you melted one, you won't be able to buy it back. Then they'll do any melted CCUs. Take those away. Then they'll do any melted game packages. And eventually, 5 to 7 months from the release of 1.0, they're going to get rid of your CCUs. They're going to completely just like nuke your CCUs. They hopefully will legally give you your money back, but they're going to nuke your CCUs. They'll no longer make them. So why? Because they're going to release more ships. And they're going to keep increasing the prices of these ships as they go along. Remember, at the end of the day, CIG is here to make money. And they're going to maximize their flow as much as possible because they do not get enough pushback when they do stuff like this. And when they don't get a pushback, when 2 weeks later everyone goes, ooh, shiny, here's $4,000 for my battlecruiser JPEG at this point. Like, what do you expect? They're going to treat you the way you treat them. If you reward them for doing this, they'll keep doing it. Same thing happens with ship packages, with monthly packages. The same thing. The only reason why we haven't had more blades is because everyone got mad at them for the blades, and they obviously didn't sell well, so they stopped doing the blades. The point that they actually, do listen to us when we get mad at them, but only when it has financial impact, or at least like an impact that was like hurting their morale of their company. So, all in all, is this a big deal? Yes and no. If you are a person who just has a game package and you play the game normally and you don't participate in the CCU game or the buyback stuff, this just changes nothing. This changes nothing for you. But if you do, you're taking a risk. I said this earlier, you're playing loaded dice with the devil. CIG is the house, and the house will always win. You might get some discounts here and there, but it's probably a good time to start cashing in those discounts, unless you're really comfortable with all of those discounts being evaporated in moments, because it's going to happen. After CIG has done something like this effectively twice, with first stopping the sale of Squadron 42 and now basically Thanos snapping your Squadron 42 accounts, they're going to keep doing it because they still need money, and they're going to sell you the same chip twice. So it's a nothing burger in the sense that it's not really going to affect the game long term. Most people will forget about this. Ooh, shiny will happen. But it's a big burger in the sense that it is a something burger because CIG is paying attention. They're watching. They're seeing stuff. They're seeing this video right now, probably. And they're seeing what they can get away with because they're a company. And we have to start treating CIG like a company, not like your friend, because they're not your friend. They're a business that's sole job is to stay alive. And they'll do everything and anything to keep the doors open, to pay those 900 employees and get that profit. You have to remember that. And if you don't, you're going to get burned. So I don't usually do drama, but I figured this was a nice little tangent and tie on to like, this is going to keep going, guys. This is going to keep happening. I talked about there's a fun Warren Buffett meme that runs around where it's a fake quote where it's like let me pull it up again. I had it up here. I made this. Freak the fuck out and panic sell everything right now. It's fucking over. But this is for you, CCU fans. Freak the fuck out and panic buy everything right now. It's fucking over. Do it now. Otherwise, you're all going to lose everything. That's just a nice little lighthearted joke at the end. It's not a real quote, by the way. It's just something that financial bros like to do as a joke. Thank you for watching. If you did enjoy this, please comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on any of this. Your mad comments. I'm not your therapist, but feel free to rage post in the comments below if you're mad. Totally understandable in this point. Again, it's legally okay, but ethically dubious, if not just shitty on CIG's part. And of course, if you did enjoy this, join us live. Twitch.tv/theastropub, youtube.com/theastropub live. Like the video, hit the subscribe button for more content, and hit the bell icon to be notified when it's released. Thank you for watching, and like I say every time, hope to see you someday in the black. No, I agree. Besco Knight. It's gray market or capitalist too. It's the gray market. If you are doing the CCU game, this is somebody with, I'm saying this as somebody with CCUs in the game. All right. I'll play this game. If you have skin in the game when it comes to CCUs or buybacks, you are playing with loaded dice because CIG controls all the cards and they can fuck you over at any moment. So if you're trying to out-capitalist the capitalists who control all of the fucking cards, don't be surprised when you get fucking burned. That's what I'm trying to say. But it sucks for the average person. The average person who simply melted their ships because they didn't have access to like the shiny new suit that was in there. So they went to go get something else and thought they could buy back that ship and that package later. X already discussed it. I don't think I didn't get the sense that he was particularly upset because I don't think he's deep into the buyback game. I also think that X isn't seeing the full picture. I'm staring at the hole and reading the edges, and the edges are telling me that X is also fucked. But I also don't think X is actually doing this for capitalism. He doesn't have buybacks and CCUs just for the sake of selling them. He's doing it for his own fleet. So. Paul, is there any other news? 15 minutes, the same rant is a lot. Yes, we're going to go over what is it? Sorry. we're going to go over the latest Star Citizen Live, which actually talks a little bit about component crafting, which is important. Yeah, we got crafting news. So let's watch that together. Is this channel in trouble because it's focused on CCU? It's partially, but Inforunners has never been a fully CCU buyback thing. It's mostly been about other aspects, but focusing on ships and whether what is and isn't a good investment into the sense of like, if you already spent too much money on this game, what should you do? So, thank you. Ian, we were always going to move on from that topic, but if I didn't address that topic, you would have 15 people in the chat every 10 minutes saying, did you see CIG's statement? I guarantee you it would have happened. I've been in this industry for long enough to know that everyone comes in the chat thinking that they're the first person with the news because they're trying to be nice and tell everyone, hey, this is thing that was just released, or they want to have my opinion on stuff. So, and people got to exaggerate, yes, for sure.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Star Citizen Live. And if you have any questions, Seb, that part doesn't go on YouTube. Just from here. No, it's all right. I'm your host, Jared.
I'll be very quick, Golden Triangle. So it's for all the people who got here a little bit late. Because I did start at 66 people. We're now at like over 80, almost 90 people. The gist is that if you had an account that had Squadron 42 in it, your Squadron, you can no longer buy it back. So if you had an account, if you had a package that Squadron 42 can't in it that you melted, you can't buy it back. And a lot of people are mad for a lot of different reasons. My conspiratorial tinfoil hat is seeing where this goes. Is that CIG will start to do the same thing for limited availability ships that you've melted, and then CCUs that you've melted, and then game packages that you melted, and eventually get rid of CCUs altogether before 1.0. Because the more they can get rid of that process in the back end, the more money they can make in the front end, which they'll do. But that's true for any business. Exactly my point. That's what the video was about. It's basically saying they're capitalists. They're gonna capital. Do not be surprised when the snake bites you, for it is a snake. By the way, I got purged. That's fine. Me getting purged on Spectrum is nothing new. I didn't even say anything mad. I just said, this is disappointing, and I think I said something to the effect of, this is a problem that CIG made themselves. That's all. I am not mad about CIG's purging my comment, or purging anyone's comment, because it's CIG. They're gonna do what they can. Why would anyone trust CIG and invest any more after a move like that? I don't understand. That's my point. Get the fuck out now. If you're trying to play this game long term, you're going to get burned now. Get out. Stop doing CCUs. Stop doing that stuff. Because at any moment, CIG can Thanos snap that shit away. And they will, if they legally can.
And if you've never seen Star Citizen Live before,
it.
It's where normally I know my own name. They told me before I had to move my heartburn medication. It's like, don't tell people you have heartburn. It's still there. It's about where
this could have, yeah, no, I agree. I mean, that's my take. Give us a week or so for us to actually buy back stuff, and this wouldn't have been a problem. But CIG didn't. This wasn't for us. This was for gray market profiteers. That's what this was, and the rest of us are getting caught in the crossfire.
The title sequence. Play the title sequence one more time.
Need a do-over, Jared.
Go ahead.
They're not getting another dime from me. Matrix, don't take this the wrong way. I'm sure you're taking a principled stance on your own reason and your own reasons alone, but nobody else gives a shit. CIG is going to continue to make a lot of money. People will forget about this shit in 2 weeks. Like, this is not for me to say for you to not stand up for your principles. Stand up for your principles and be strong about it. But I've seen enough gamer boycotts fail to tell you that like this is a nothing burger compared to lots of the shit the CIG's done in the past. I just wouldn't bother playing the CCU game after this because it's like, that hurt. That smack hurt me pretty hard. And I only had one account. I'm like, that hurt a little bit. Oh, fuck. All my other buybacks are fucked.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Star Citizen Live. I'm your host, Jared Huckabee. If you've never seen Star Citizen Live before, it's where we take an hour out of our program. Nope. Look, we put up a thread and we asked you for questions about inventory and crafting. And you guys came with questions about inventory crafting. And then these three guys, let's show them. They went through that thread and they picked 26 that they wanted to talk about today. They put them on a list. They made some notes. Some of us have the notes printed up, so make sure we don't forget stuff. And now we're here to talk to you and answer your questions. Joining us on the show this week, Rick, tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Hello, I'm Rick Porter. I'm the design director at CIG. I work both on Star Citizen and Squadron 42, but mostly lately I've been focusing on the design for Star Citizen and getting one release out after another in the last couple of years.
Yeah, 11 releases last year. Yeah,
pretty proud of that, honestly.
Yeah, only because you're next to him. Yeah. No. Because you don't bring me baked goods. Declan, tell everybody who you are and what you want to do.
Yeah, my name's Declan or Dec, system designer, so it involves helping design.
I think that's the point. Astropub Live, they don't give a shit about anyone but the New Cash. They've never given a shit about anyone but New Cash. They're a company. That's what they do. The hope is, for all of us, that they also are still dedicated to making a good game. And it seems like they're putting that money to making a good game. So that's the best we can do. That's all, especially people like myself who've been around here for fucking 11 years. That's all we can do. That's all we can put into is hope that it'll turn out well. So far, it's doing pretty good. But goddamn, do they love to step on them rakes.
Design systems and then maintain them once they're out live, such as crafting. Yeah.
Which is one of the things we're talking about.
Which is very convenient for this show.
We didn't plan that at all.
No.
And Torsten, who are you and what do you do?
I'm Torsten, I'm his manager, and he's my
Manfred.
manager.
It's appropriate that you're sitting in between us.
Yeah.
So you see the way the crap flows.
I do like the Project Hail Mary helmet right there.
The show is
Tiny,
crafting and inventory. In our latest major release, 4.7. 4.7.
Oh no, the positive is that for sure Squadron's coming out. They wouldn't have done this move if Squadron wasn't coming out this year. So Squadron coming out this year, and they're going to make an announcement of the announcement date, or they're going to announce the date for the release in the next couple of months. That's why they did that.
Nobody nodded. They were just completely oblivious.
That's the previous one, yes.
Yeah. We introduced a first iteration of crafting to the Precision Universe, where we begin this long journey of putting greater agency and control of the player experience into the hands of those people who...
I completely forgot about that they also removed buying UEC. The fact that they did that the same, like the day after doing the other stuff, that's, oh, fuck, I forgot about that. Yeah, that's even more more evidence and ammo for my point that, like, yeah. That's hold on. I'm gonna make an addendum. The movie was good. Hey, this is Paul again. Cut ye in the middle to interrupt because Chad just reminded me. They also got rid of UEC buying. So that's even more evidence that CIG is doing something. They're preparing for not just Squadron's release, but some other stuff down the road. So, yeah. Tinfoil hat ain't too crazy anymore, is it? All right, move back. was a positive PR move. It's a move that the CIG is moving because they're changing how Squadron 42 and Star Citizen are releasing. That move is more about because CIG is clearly looking at different ways of making money beyond 1.0.
Who play the game or don't play the game, they just watch the show.
Hey, Honest Man, it was supposed to be this week, but I got caught up. I'm at like 5 minutes or so. I got to go in game and get some footage, but I'm at like 5 minutes or so of like the 20-minute episode. It's like a little under 20 minutes. So it's a sort of one. It's sort of a rehash of the kind of beginner's guide to Star Citizen. But that one should be out maybe this weekend, maybe a little bit later. But the plan is actually to go jump from that to doing like 2 other episodes that I'm working on right now. One for sure will be out for Patreons, and then out for everybody else. And the other one is going to take me a little bit longer because I'm collaborating with other people. So
and make unfortunate comments. Also, we updated crafting with a big interface update for crafting and whatnot. So, like I said, let's get the questions. Zerator says Jared. Yes, Zerator. You took up 5 lines in Twitch chat. I'll stop the whole show. What do you want? Yeah, it's going to be that kind of show. You didn't know this? You didn't know this by this point? It's going to be that kind of show. Nothing. Zerator is suspiciously quiet now. All right. So let's jump into the questions we got. These are in no particular order. Right off the bat, will we be able to increase quality of a material? Now, this is a big thing because in 4.7, not just crafting come online, but a major change to all materials where now it's not just, hey, I'm grabbing iron and hey, I'm grabbing aluminum. I almost said aluminium because I've been here 4 years. Now you have to search for varying quality.
it's aluminum, by the way. It was discovered in America by an American, and it's pronounced aluminum.
Qualities and get the best qualities and stuff. Will we be able to increase the quality of such material?
Yeah, start with a hot question. Current plan is no. You won't be able to increase the quality of
It was discovered by an American who named it aluminum.
material, and there's a few aspects that go into that.
No, I haven't done that yet,
Firstly,
Alex.
we would like rare materials and valuable materials to remain rare and valuable. Concern being that if I can take a large chunk of low quality, condense it into high quality, given enough time, players will have high quality everything. And that greatly devalues the future play trading opportunities, where we really want to see the scenario of a player finds a super high rare, high value ore deposit, and perhaps on their player base they set up a shop, and then you have people coming to your shop and like buying from you, and you get to interact with them and so on. The second part is
Coined by British chemist Humphrey Davy in 1812. If I remember correctly, it was either before that or slightly after that. It was first created by an American, but at the time it was called something else. It wasn't called, or it was coined. It was sort of called aluminum, but it wasn't pronounced aluminium. It's an entirely fucked thing, because I remember watching a video where someone was like, "Is it aluminum or aluminium?" And it's like, well, technically, the first person to really deal with it was an American, but it was a chemist who discovered it. It's like. It's closer to aluminum than it is aluminium, but yeah. Look it up. So aluminum was Danish. Okay, so I looked it up. So Sir Humphrey Davy identified the metal, but it wasn't actually created, because I believe it's an alloy. So he first theorized that it could exist in 1808, but in the process that he proposed the name aluminium. but he changed it to aluminum in 1812, derived from the alumen, Latin aluminum for alum. The spelling later evolved to aluminium to match the inium suffix and many other elements, though American usage stuck to aluminum. So basically, in America, it was always shown as aluminum, so we just called it aluminum. Then in Europe, they sort of slowly worked it back to aluminium. Yeah, he never isolated it. It was Hans Christian Ørsted who actually isolated it. Fucking love science. Science is so fucking stupid. I love it. Aluminum was also accepted spelling of the U.S. until 1925. Then the American Chemical Society decided to use the name aluminum thereafter. Yes, we are. We are doing that, Cobra.
There's there is a need for the lower and mid quality to have greater value at the moment because it's bigger number is better.
Ocean, are you saying make aluminum again?
For the high quality, so to resolve this, our plan is with the refining updates that you have 2 ingredients for when you're refining. One of them will be a primary, 2 or more, it could be 2 or more to be fair, 2 or more could be secondary, and the quality of the secondary determines how much of it you need, whereas the primary is the quality of the primary is used for the refined material. So if it's iron, we always go for the steel example. So if you're making steel, primary is iron, 750 quality iron makes 750 steel. Carbon, the quality is not too important. So you can get a massive amount of carbon, however much you need of terrible quality, shove it in and get your steel.
So the value in the lower quality stuff will be in using it to get a greater quantity.
Not quantity, it's just for the secondary inputs, you need less of it if it's high quality. But you can still use any quality. Okay. So you can farm up loads and just shove it in as secondary.
So there's a purpose for the lower quality. And it's, to be very honest, it's something that we discuss a lot, discussed a lot, if we want to go down this road. And as Deck already described, one of the main reasons why we want to stick with this approach of you not being able to upgrade the materials is that we still want you to search for higher grades, that we don't want you to hoard lower grades, because at some point you will be able to upgrade. And
why do I need a QT drive to use my thrusters more? Space magic. The easiest logical answer is that quantum drives themselves are in fact mass altering. So if you turn your quantum drive on, it is actually literally giving you a quantum like a warp bubble around you, which makes it so that you are changing your mass as you move. So you're actually moving. You're literally like reducing your weight so you can move faster. But how does that work? Magic. Because it's a magic particle that manipulates mass. Astrophase drive, basically. Hey, but what's this pledge? 55 million reward, Future Armament, Inquisition, Gatling. It's I think it's the big Apocalypse. I don't know. I mean, it's Preacher. Preacher Munitions does make a Gatling. So. What does second material actually do? So they use the example of like steel. So like to make steel, you need iron and carbon. And you need to trap the carbon atoms in the iron atoms to harden it, if I remember my chemistry correctly. So really what it is it's CIG wants to, in the refining process, have a secondary thing that will change the total outcome of that other thing to make it. What does it do? It does whatever the fuck CIG says it does so that they can utilize the crap material you're going to be grinding. So, catalyst, yeah. But it's probably the wrong word. Someone is going to be like, well, actually, it's called a blah, 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 from the Latin root mafagmaba. You know, because it's got some fucking whatever reason. The reality is that they need something to do with your crap shit. The shit that's garbage that you don't use, they need you to be able to harvest it anyways so that you actually have a use for it, and that use is going to be whatever the fuck they want to. Yeah. Yeah, because you wouldn't actually use a refining for alloy, would be smelting, and who gives a shit?
For that reasons, we came up with some solutions of making the lower quality actually worthwhile to holding onto them, especially then once we have the refining process in.
Yeah, and we want, when you find those really high level ones, we want that to be exciting. We want that to feel like a moment. And if you...
I say that after arguing for 10 minutes about aluminum, at a certain point, you just got to go, it's a game. They're going to use the stuff they already have to make it work.
You could just get higher easy, you would dilute that experience.
Seems weird that doesn't affect the end quantity or quality. It will affect the quality. My guess is because they've talked about this in the past. If you remember correctly, if you use lower quality copper, it'll change the outcome. I think the way that they're planning on doing it is that the choice of shit that you use, the garbage metal you throw in there, the garbage material you throw in as a secondary for your primary, probably change the attributes of that primary refinement so that you can tweak things. Because they've talked about in the past where, like, when they did the presentation, like that pistol they were using might have different attributes depending on what materials you use in making that thing. So.
Plus, it's good. It seems.
I don't think they understand how terrible experience mining is right now. Why? Because you're just throwing away everything that isn't just high quality.
Seems to me like you're finding a nice compromise here. Then
it's one of those situations where I think the devs are out of touch. I tend to agree, but I think hopefully as they get more stuff in and more people get involved in the crafting loop, they start to realize, oh fuck, we fucked up, and they'll go back. But it's going to take a year for that to happen.
We do, for the people who gather casually.
Scanning, everything is so slow. Yep, that's because they need a new scanning system.
There's a path, there's a useful for the stuff, for the lesser quality stuff they get. But for the people who dedicate themselves, like, I am going to be a miner, that is my job. Because you're going to keep those higher resources more valuable, that effort is going to be more rewarding to those people because they're going to be able to sell that stuff to.
Exactly, that is the point, because with that we open up the opportunities for players to sell it, right? If every player is able to upgrade their materials, then we swamp the market with a high quality.
Of course, that relies on player trading, and we've got to get there at some point. There's a question. We'll wait until we get to the question. I don't remember what number it was.
Shouldn't you be able to refine lower quality materials to higher quality metal materials by removing the impurities? Yeah, but not in this universe. For whatever reason, not in the gameplay. I get the reason, like, that would be a logical thing that I would do, but I get why they don't want to do that, because they want to make sure that players aren't just hoarding tons of crap and then just slowly sifting through it to get the like really high quality stuff. The answer that I would have for that is just do it and put a cap on it. Like, you can only get up to 800 quality by doing that. So if you really want to get anything 800 and above, you're going to have to fucking go look for it. But I guess their system works. I'm not making the game, so it's really up to how CIG wants to do it. I think a lot of other problems already exist that this is sort of, because we don't know how refining is going to work really. And we don't know how scanning is going to work. So, like, the new scanning and the new refining stuff isn't in. So we're working with, give us some feedback on this thing, which is 1/3 of the final product. And it's like, I don't know what to fucking tell you. It's 1/3 of the final product. Give me the rest of the product and I'll tell you how it works together.
Yeah. It's number 2. Player trading.
How convenient.
I lied when I said there's no rhyme or reason to this. I just forgot. Player trading is a much needed feature now that we have crafting. Any news on that?
Yes and no. it's something that's really important to me in particular. Like I got on stage at SitCon a couple of years ago and talked about how important I think the player-driven economy can be, especially now that we're finally getting crafting out. Like if you can't do player trading, it's not what I want it to be. So going to get there as fast as possible. We've got to balance it against some other things like social features and so forth. But what we want to do is give players a space in the world, taking advantage of the trade centers that we already have in locations where you can go there and you can take anything in your local inventory and put it on the local net and pick your price and sell it for what you want, or what anybody else.
Yeah, I muted myself. You're saying scientists and me is flashing alarm bells, low quality carbon is carbon is a primary element. Yeah, but how do you get pure carbon? Because if I remember correctly, even the ways that we assume are just pure carbon isn't actually pure carbon. It's got a bunch of other shit in it. So you have to sift through it to be able to get that pure carbon. Yes, I was fucking with you. Space magic, exactly. Yeah.
There that's done the same. You can buy their stuff and get what you need. So we have those actual in-world commercial centers, and then eventually we'll have player bases, base building, where you can do that locally and build your own town. So
I'm glad you mentioned social right there. That is the precursor to this. The work that Benoit and his team are doing on developing social tools, which I don't think anybody that's ever played Star Citizen for more than 5 minutes will argue is not incredibly important and incredibly needed. The work that they're doing on social lays the groundwork. It's an
All right, I will push back on this. Whenever I hear people be like, Star Citizen is science fantasy, it's like, it's not science fantasy, guys. Just because Star Citizen isn't 100% accurate doesn't mean it's science fantasy. Because if that's the case, everything you think of as hard sci-fi is fucking science fantasy. The fucking Project Hail Mary, science fantasy. The Expanse, science fantasy. Anything that isn't perfectly accurate is science fantasy. It's stupid. It's science fiction with an emphasis on the fiction rather than the science. Still does some science stuff, still has some science aspects to it, more than just fantasy, magic. You can do whatever the fuck you want, breathe in space. But it's science fiction. I always have a problem with that because whenever I hear people talk about the purists of the game, I like to say, this is a game about World War II dogfighting with bird aliens and tree people who fly giant spacecrafts. Like, this game wasn't serious to begin with, guys. It's simply draped in the trappings of classic science fiction. It's kind of like how, if you actually look at all the elements, Gundam is hard sci-fi to the fucking core. Holy shit, is it hard science fiction? And then you get into the fucking space magic with new types and giant robots that are somehow flying in space and are more efficient in space than spaceships. And it makes no goddamn sense, but like, who gives a shit? By then you've already been like invested in the universe. So yeah. Listen, and Kitsune, the Nine Tails people are just built different, okay? They just built different, all right? That's just a skill issue. Also, CIG fucked up. Until Amuro, exactly. Space Whale is not fantasy. Space Whale isn't in space. It's in the upper atmosphere of the planet. And that upper atmosphere of Orson is breathable. It's based off of an actual belief that low mass gas giants could have their upper levels be breathable. And it's not the only thing that exists. There are other creatures that CIG has hinted at, like space jellyfish or jellyfish and krill, effectively. Like krill that live in the clouds. And anyone who's seen like any Carl Sagan knows that Carl Sagan used to absolutely fucking jerk off to the idea of creatures living in gas giants. So this is like Robotech's protomatter. Yeah, I'd put it up there with like the protomolecule or the astrophage sort of. It's a MacGuffin. It's the Quantanium is a MacGuffin. It always has been.
Necessary foundation for then building player trading on top of that. You have to be able to effectively communicate to people.
Yep.
And before you can start player trading. So the social tools are what their focus on is on.
My point being, 89, it's not just a jump on you. It's just more of my point being is that like CIG puts a lot of thought into the science aspects of the game. At least the lore people do, but they're not going to let the science get in the way of cool shit. So they'll just find science that might lean towards it, and that's the Star Trek approach. Basically, like we know this thing exists. Let's do this cool story with this twist because it's fun. Even though like a lot of the science in Star Trek we know like from like the 80s, we know today is total bullshit or is totally not true. Because remember, Star Trek also had fucking psychics. They had giant space jellies, living rocks, rocks, and an entire race of psychic aliens. Betazoids, exactly. And Q. Well, Q is like the epitome of any sufficiently advanced technologies indistinguishable from magic. So, crystalline entities,
right now.
Yeah.
The new inventory has had a lot of the same problems that we're seeing with the old inventory, such as slow load times and poor quality images. Are there plans to resolve this?
Yes. So,
all right, next question.
Don't laugh. So for the images, there's a handful of initiatives underway. There's no anti-aliasing on the images, so that's one of the things we're going to look into add in. There is improvements to the framing. You'll see some things that see zoomed out, zoomed in compared to the box. There is lighting and shadows, and then for the responsiveness and the snappiness, it's work in progress. It is our desire to have it instant. So
I saw.
I'll get to this again. I'll leave it off with this. Science fiction is not science that it happens to have some fiction in it. It's fiction that uses real world science to tell a story. There is always some suspension of disbelief in every science fiction, even the hardest science fiction. Because the point is to tell a story using the trappings of science. That's it. Don't get wrapped up on is it science fantasy or science fiction or anything like that. That shit doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If it's got wizards and magic in it and they don't bother to fucking explain anything, or even if they do explain something, but it's like not really, based in real science, it's fantasy. If it's based off of at least the trappings of modern science, it's science fiction. And there are crossovers and things that kind of blend in together. But generally speaking, it's the easiest way. Because as I've said for many years on this channel, genres suck. We're terrible at creating genres, and everything's fucking doesn't make any goddamn sense, especially in gaming.
I'm in a number of chats where, for visibility and something, and I saw there was a big conversation. They found a big cause, not the only cause, and there's never only one source for something, but they made a nice big leap in some discovery earlier this week, and I wish I could remember what the heck it was now before I opened my mouth.
I fucking love Outlaw Star. Don't get me wrong. I fucking love it.
Just assumed I would remember by the time I got to the point, and I don't. But yeah, they are currently making progress.
Yeah, there's a lot of work going to making the inventory the best we can.
Yeah, it's hard because it's like I think Pete just saw me put my hand on my mouth. He's like, "I got it before you put your light on." It's hard. It never quite seemed like it goes fast enough. Nothing ever goes as fast as we want it to.
Yeah.
But mining is currently quite tedious due to only wanting to search for high quality materials? Are there plans? We ended up going into this answer with the first answer.
And I think the other part of the answer to that is like the question is like, all I'm finding is boring stuff. Where's the excitement? It's like we will balance that over time. If we're not, supplying enough for the players to like feel satisfaction in that process, if we're not supplying enough for to have a good crafting environment, we will adjust the balance of what we think, gets to a good place for both the economy and to make sure that all the other game systems come together for, a fun environment.
That's
or
fair.
for that, we are even like monitoring all the rates that we see drop. So we are adjusting. So for every patch cycle, the numbers might change a bit, so that we're getting to a range where the material that the players will find is actually like meaningful and has a purpose for them.
Yep.
But I wouldn't call mining tedious.
But it depends.
You haven't played in 4.7 then. It's because the systems that they don't have online yet. Scanning doesn't exist properly, and refining doesn't exist. So it's tedious as fuck.
Not every game loop is going to be for every person. And we don't
okay.
know the person who sent this. For some people, it will be tedious.
Yeah.
But
It should also be exciting.
Yeah, but the problem is that if it's tedious for you and all you want to do is build something and you don't give a shit about mining, then you should be able to trade with people who want to mine. But you fucking can't. Like, that's the problem.
For the people that enjoy it.
Yeah.
No, if you don't want to make something that if you make something that's for everybody, it's a little too broad. Those too broad, it's a little too uninteresting and whatnot. You want to make something that's engaging.
Yes, golden triangles. The reason why salvage ships can create multi-tool and a few attachments and fuses, but the crafting bench cannot, is because of this rare bug that exists solely in the crafting machines called alpha. And so when the technology when they finally manage to fix that virus that's infected all of your crafting machines called alpha, then you'll be able to craft those things later.
Some people are going to take to it and some people are not. One of the things you said about we were going to continue to balance is, I think anybody that's followed the project long enough can.
No, the honest to God answer is, it's a good question, because there is actually going to be different fabricators. Like, we don't know how detailed they're going to get with the fabricators, but it's likely going to be that we're going to get, like, they're not gonna make it as detailed as that. We just don't have the crafting patterns on that for whatever reason. I think CIG just fucked up and forgot to
test that we continuously evolve. We put a thing out and then we change it and then we change it and we get feedback and we change it again and we get feedback and change it. That's part of developing a game with an open environment like we do. Mining alone, since we're talking about mining, let's just use that, has evolved so much from that initial release. So crafting will do the same. Crafting will do the same, and mining will continue to do the same, and stuff like this. So I think that's been borne out over the years. So, is the purchase of materials of various qualities up?
Oh, I didn't see that. Thank you so much, Hourglass Mage, for that 37 months. It shouldn't be, alerts should be on. Oh, I forgot to turn them back on manually here. Whoops. Thank you.
Other than 0 from in-game locations like mining outposts being considered?
Yes. So
I'm not sure I understood the question.
So at the moment when a
You wrote
shop
the
sells
answer.
a resource, I've wrote the answer and just stuck people's names on it. So
Oh,
that's the secret. At the moment, shops sell resources at 0 just because that's the default. Right. It's just a tech limitation.
That was never.
Okay. Realistically, if you had a fabricator, you could make laser guns and ballistic guns. Then why could you can't make everything else? I mean, think about it. What about science? Be able to make a gunpowder or bullets? Science doesn't make any sense. Simple. All of us are able to do it, just not you. I don't know why. It's just you. You can't, but it's just you, bud.
Were intended. It was,
Yeah, exactly.
It's just where we landed for the release.
They'll end up selling materials of quality. They won't sell the super high quality stuff. And equally, if you sell good quality to a shop, it'll pay more, but the best deal is probably going to be on the player trade market.
Well, I mean, what did I do? Is it because I love is it because I love the Redeemer? Yes, and the Storm. Your love of the Redeemer and the Storm.
because that's where
Yeah.
people have the most money.
Yeah. We'll have a market with multiple quality values. You'll be able to go there and pay more for higher quality and less for lower quality. And the same vice versa. If you want to sell your own stuff, you'll get more for higher quality and less for lower quality. That's absolutely the design, and we'll get there. We just couldn't get there last release.
But what Dex said is that, and I want to highlight that, is that we really want to have player trading standing out in comparison to trading with NPCs. So we want to make sure that, sure, you will be finding like different qualities from NPC traders, but your source should be, or we want to encourage you to actually trade with players there.
And eventually it'll all be tied together. Like whenever a player's trading to another player, we'll be tracking that and adding it to the overall simulation. We've talked about having StarSim, the simulation that knows everything that the players are doing, plus all the things that we're expecting the NPCs to doing, so that when players buying stuff for one price, that is reflected in the NPC prices as well.
Yeah.
So I lost it. I lost it from the chat. There was a question from the chat. We just put out crafting. We just put out the first version of crafting. How are you guys feeling about it right now?
Deck did a really good job there. he pulled all the things together and motivated the teams working on it. So definitely kudos to Deck.
Yeah, we asked Deck to do a lot at the last minute, but like the whole team came together. Like
For sure.
Yeah, like.
It's important to remember, as they're sort of emphasizing this, but this was them getting it done at the last possible fucking minute. They're like, is this done? Is it good enough? Fucking send it. This is the year of fucking send it. I'm just gonna fucking send it, bro. This is the year. Like, is it done? Yeah. Like, that's why it's completely unfinished and it's fucking a lot of other things up. It's because it's like, fuck it, yeah. When can we fabricate drugs? I think that's going to be the same fabricators that you're going to use to make food. So it's like nutrition.
It's the first step. Like, there's a lot more that we want to do with crafting, but just getting that first tier of crafting out felt really good. It's that first step, that we needed to take to get it into players' hands to start iterating on it, and we've got a long ways to go, but there's a lot of cool features coming, and yeah.
I'm okay with send it. Isn't that what EPTU is supposed to be doing? Yeah, CIG doesn't remember EPTU. They forgot about that existing. It might as well like doesn't. Chris mentioned it as it's up there with fucking Tavar and Kung Fu. That shit ain't coming back.
It was nice seeing like the avalanche of feedback. You saw some people, they wanted XYZ to be improved. You saw people crafting guns that were 900 quality, and then there was a helmet that was bugged that I had to fix, which I was a bit annoyed went out.
I think that
it was very nice to see go out.
It even helped internally because the people working on it were all motivated to get this feature in a really good quality, because they themselves are either a fan of crafting or are really like fan of tying things together in our game. So that definitely helped a lot.
Yeah.
Now, of course, there are people who are going to have dissenting opinions. They're obviously always going to be someone who doesn't like how mining works or how crafting works or how whatever. What would you say to people who just wash their hands of the entire system right now? Just, I don't like any of this. I wish you'd made Star Wars Galaxies. Just make Star Wars Galaxies, please.
I think it's
Ahazi. Ahazi. Shout out to Ahazi.
I think it's pretty early to wipe your hands of it. Like we've got a long ways to go, both in crafting itself and the other features that are going to support crafting. Yeah, it's too early to tell, I would say. This is absolutely just our first step out the door. And while it's really cool to see what players can already do with it, we're far from done.
We did release a crafting guide alongside, and the crafting guide had a wonderful section at the bottom, not just dedicated to everything that was in this one, but a look to a whole lot of things that are already in development for the future. I mean, it's not even everything. There were a couple of things. Anything that was like, well, we might, whatever. We struck them out. We stuck with a pretty short list of the things that we were pretty confident on, and it's an impressive list of stuff coming. If you haven't seen the crafting guide and checked out the section at the bottom of where crafting is going, I would suggest you check it out. There's some good stuff in there.
Good job writing that deck. At the 11th hour, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
No, we
Used in
worked
that
on it.
review.
So there's crafting, then there's inventory. Now, obviously we put this new inventory front end on, but one of the big issues that the crafting update made was all the material updates made and all the qualities of all the materials of different quality have basically put a whole lot of stuff in players' inventories now. How are we addressing this?
There's a couple of things in the work for the quality itself, which will help with the bloats. And then, as you mentioned, the crafting guide, there's some inventory adjustments and management tools. The first one is kind of like a folder structure. So if you have 20 variants of copper, they'll be inside a folder. You'll click the folder and then you'll see your 20. So as you're scrolling through the freight elevator, your inventory, it'll look much cleaner until you want to dive in and
Oh, fuck me. Oh, are they going to do copper alloys? Fuck me in the ass. God damn, that's going to suck. Because that means CIG can put like thousands of fucking levers in there. Did you get potassium or did you get potassium oxide? Did you get potassium or did you get potassium chloride? Like, fuck.
see all the details. The second one,
Yeah, that's the plan is to do that, like to have that in the inventory in the future.
one is merging and splitting. So merging, people have like half empty boxes they're hauling all over the place. They would, if they're low quality or you're not too bothered to keeping them separate, you could just stick them all together. The quality would average out based on the SU weights. And then splitting is kind of the obvious opposite, where you take part of a box and do it into two boxes, and that's crucial for player trading, right? You don't want to put all your high quality up for sale. You want to take half of it and put it up for sale, or maybe you want to share it but sell it.
So this is more about, like, if you have a 60 SCU crate, you convert it into 2 8 SCU crates, or like into several 1 SCU crates. So you basically split up the volume into smaller chunks. So in comparison to the merging, this will leave the quality unaffected, right? So just create new containers holding the same material.
And
merging is a little different from stacking, though. I just expect the merging to also fuck you over. Because all it is take 2 points, put them together, and then figure out what the lowest average, whatever the medium is, round down.
I'm going to ask the question that chat is going to be asking right now.
Oh, and it will fuck up. It guaranteed will fuck up. It'll fuck up for like 6 months until it works.
Now you have to look at it. Why wasn't something like that in the first release then? If you know you're going to flood the inventory system with all these new materials.
Okay, I'm thinking in my brain. Because they didn't have fucking time.
With all these varying qualities, why wasn't merge and split and stuff like that in the first release?
Well, we have to release at some point, don't we?
Yeah. How long do we want to wait on release for all the features that we have planned? If we waited on every little feature that we want to have be part of the system, like it would take us so much longer to get anything out into players' hands, and it would just slow down the iteration overall.
Yeah, up to 6 months waiting for the
Throw
next
that
patch.
shit out there.
Yep.
Fucking send
hard.
it.
It's hard because if we waited for everything, we'd never
Yeet
release
system.
anything. That's just the reason why some games
Yeet
go.
citizen.
6 months between major releases or even longer and stuff. They go completely quiet. We are putting new stuff out almost every 2 weeks at this point. Now, and it's like this. It's because we get feedback on the stuff we have. It's like we need that feedback on the stuff we have. We need that testing on the stuff that we have, because we might learn something about the stuff we have that directly affects the stuff that we're waiting for. And better to know that while we're still working on this than finish this and go, oh, I wish I had known this earlier. If only I had put what we had out earlier, that information could have informed this. There's a whole lot of reasons why we operate the why we operate a live environment in the middle of our game development.
I do not want them to yeet the release of the 600i rework. They won't. What I'm saying, just fucking send it, throw that shit out there. What I'm saying is CIG is doing that because Squadron 2 is coming out this year. I don't know if you know. And they want to try to get as much fucking stuff done into the game as possible while not totally breaking everything, so that they can have Star Citizen be in a state that's like playable-esque for people who are used to a Squadron 42 polish. So they're just sending it and then fixing it as they go. My problem is they don't seem to have a team to actually fix the problems as they go. And they need a team whose job is to go in and fix all the problems that they cause because they keep sending it. You'll need that team anyways in post 1.0 to go back and fix some of these problems, to like patch them. I'm sure those teams exist in some way, shape, or form, but it doesn't feel like that they're coordinated or large enough. Be right back.
Weapons free, y'all.
Mission complete. Burrito.
Taking your fun buttons away.
There you go.
They want Star Citizen to be as good as possible and Star Citizen launches this year, so they need it out for testing and bug fix as fast as possible. Yeah.
It's beneficial in a lot of ways, and it's annoying. and you should look at me like, it is. It is annoying to have to put out a feature and you know it needs.
Oh, the new ship's not getting PT testing is adding to the broken. Yep, but they don't have time to fix it until later.
Needs merging and splitting. It's just not ready.
I'll never be happy with any feature we put out. It'll never be complete. It'll be as good as I can get in the time and resources that I have. That's me being a perfectionist. That's nothing against the game.
Yeah. Well, now it's going to be.
What's the software term? Y'all use software developers in chat, where a temporary fix is just a permanent fix that you tell yourself is a temporary fix.
A meme on Reddit.
Yeah, well.
It'll be a nice square picture of Rick Porter that says, "I'll never be happy with anything I release."
That's sure. It's truth.
Is game finished yet? No, game not finished. Game better, but no finish.
I'll take it. That's me being a perfectionist. That's not an indictment of anything else.
So what's the plan? I skipped way ahead. So what's the plan for crafting large items that obviously won't fit in the current fabricator?
So with the current fabricator, we had a specific format that we were going for. That's.
Oh, let me fizzy drink. They were saying yes, yep to my temporary fixes are just permanent fixes. You lie to yourself and say is a temporary fix.
Our first version. In the future we're going to have the ability to craft directly into local storage with that.
Oh, there you go. That's what it is. Nothing is just permanent. It's a temporary fix that works.
Initial fabricator, so that you'll have options to craft larger items in the near future. And then longer term with base building, we'll have hangar crafting, and we'll have intermediate steps in ship crafting as well as locations. So there's lots planned to like expand your options of size in crafting.
Crafting into the local inventory is one of those things that we're listed on that.
Yeah, and crafting local inventory is more of a stopgap until we can bring those other features into the game. So I don't think that'll be a permanent solution, but it'll be a way for us to start iterating on our larger crafting before we have those other features available.
Hey, Torsten, will mining modules and gadgets ever be craftable?
Yes, like most of or a lot of items that we will have, or we already have in our game, all of them will be craftable at some point, and we will make sure that most of the items, or actually every item that is craftable, actually is affected by the quality of the materials that you use for it, so that there is a meaningful reason for you actually to craft those items. And for 4.8, we are already like expanding our catalog of craftable items. So we are expanding it to ship components, and those will also be affected by the stat improvements that you get from the quality. So you will be able to craft, correct me if I'm wrong, Dek, but power plants, coolers, life support generator?
No life support generator.
We didn't.
No.
So what did we, weapons?
Weapons,
Weapons we did agree on. Shield generators?
Shield generators are there.
Yeah. What am I missing?
It sounds like
There's tractor beams.
the modules, the subcomponents for the salvage heads, mining heads, refueling.
The refueling one's an interesting one. We probably won't get stats for that, but we will have them because there are some refueling changes. There will be some craftable refueling elements.
Yeah. Ooh. So we are actively working on expanding our catalog.
And I'm going to roll you back about the statement, all of the items will be.
So he's talking about all of those things are going to be available in 4.8. Basically, ship components, ship weapons, any ship components that exist right now that you can see in game. Because like I don't think you have life support systems you can see. They're not physicalized in game. Like they don't have batteries in game. But shields, power plants, quantum drives, jump drives, coolers, weapons, weapon components, or like little details for like mining of these different like modules you can attach to your mining head, that kind of stuff. So all that's coming with 4.8.
Be craftable. I want to say most of the items.
Yeah, most of the. Did I say all?
You said all. You said all. But I know it's somewhere there's going to be some limited edition Vandal Cupid doll or something that we give out as a Alien Week thing or whatever, and somebody's like, "No, that was the only time you get that," or whatever. You know.
No, so it'll be very, very clear. So it's most of the items, not all of the items. That was
the things that affect gameplay. I think we can. I think we can probably commit to the things that affect gameplay.
That's absolutely the intent. Yeah. Like anything that affects gameplay that you would want to progress through the game. We want that to be craftable.
If you let me convert a Pico doll into a melee weapon, I can bludgeon people with, then now you got to make.
I'm sure you could convince somebody.
Wait for it.
Is there going to be a way to track what blueprints we have other than looking at the fabricator screen?
Yes. We're going to be adding an app to the MobiGlass so that you'll be able to see and manage all of your blueprints that you've collected, not only ones you've collected, but the ones that you could collect and the ones you could upgrade. And like it'll be a full featured app that'll probably come out after we get the upgrading in place. So it's more of a future effort, but it's definitely something we have planned.
Like a Pokedex, just for blueprints.
Yes.
Yeah, it's again one of those things called out in the crafting guide that went live with a whole host of things that we're working towards. So I want to point that out because there are a number of
bonus points if they call it the Crafty Dex. Do it, CIG. Crafted X. Crafted X. Gotta craft them all. Well, the Pokedex is simply just a play on Codex. That's why it's Poke-a-Dex. Crafty Dex. Craft-E-Dex.
The questions that we received in the thread were all questions. A number of the questions that we had were questions that had answers already published on the day that the crafting went live. So I want to encourage people to check out that crafting guide available on robertspaceindustries.com. You click a thing.
Didn't stop him from doing the X-Wings, the X-Wing the X-Wing Aurora. All right. they can use it for free. Also, Rolodex. Exactly. Yeah, Rolodex is another example. Yeah.
At the top, and then you click another thing, and then it's in there somewhere.
Also, because Rolodex is also a play on Codex, I believe.
So,
Pokemon doesn't own Nintendo doesn't own the right to Crafty Dex. Because it's itself a play on Rolodex and Codex. It's literally just a play on words. They don't own the word. They own the word Pokedex, not a dex.
We got crafting weapons. A lot of the stuff that we're crafting this first thing is FPS related. Will we be able to craft weapon attachments that have different stats from their lootable counterparts?
Yes. So exactly like the picking up on the answer from the mining gadgets. It's like most of the items, or a lot of the items that we have, will be craftable. That includes also the attachments for weapons. So that means, though, that the attachments that we find right now in the dungeons, they were already a good test bed for us because we used them back in the day to test.
There's Silvercasi, you're very important, Pepper. Welcome, everybody. My name's Paul, Berserker01, Batman Show. Your humble host and space bartender here at the Astropub, your space bar at the end of the universe. Sit back, relax, enjoy the show. We're going to go for you. Blue Dex or Fabridex. Crafter Dex. Sounds like it's almost like Craftomatic or something like that. Nah, I know what you're saying, 89, but it's also they've tried to sue multiple times recently and just got punched in the face by Japanese and American courts for similar stuff. So it's a matter of do they think they can get away with it? The reason why they tried to do those lawsuits recently in the past was because they thought they could get away with it, and they didn't. So I don't think they would try to sue CIG for Craftodex. Or Craftopedia, something like that. You're just streaming some Pokemon Y. Ooh, interesting. Yeah, because we're talking about how they should call the new blueprint lookup thing that they're going to have on your Mobiglass. They mentioned it. It'll be like a Pokedex for your crafting blueprints. And I said, call it a Craftodex. Crafty Dex. Nintendo be crazy and rabid. They're calculated. They're not crazy and rabid. They're calculated. They'll only do it if they think they can win.
Our crafting efforts there, where we could try out, okay, what happens when we improve the stats on certain components and how does that affect the gameplay. And now that we have proven that, we can actually dial back a bit there. So it's still debatable of how much we want to dial back, if we even want to dial back, but crafting will definitely then also be a meaningful way of having components for your weapons that then affect the functionality of those.
All of crafting starts with a blueprint. These are the things that determine what you can craft and whatnot. How many blueprints, not exact number, how many blueprints would you say that we added in 4.7?
There's probably websites that have data mined it, so I'm going to get this wrong. But I think there was...
Promised me at least 300, but I know you exceeded that by a lot.
There was about 300 and something in missions, and then there was roughly about 1,000 that didn't manage to make it into missions, which were like tint variants.
Yep. And I know there are some still coming online. Next week we release 472 with a bunch of new missions for Nyx, and some of those missions reward new unique blueprints that aren't in the system right now. So some of those blueprints that are in the 4.7 branch don't even come online until next week when 4.7.2 comes online.
Yeah, we'll be adding blueprints pretty much constantly.
Well, it's a neat reward because now you can conceivably add. Let's talk about how people get blueprints. How do you get blueprints right now?
At the moment, it's just missions. The plan is reputation. So when you reach a reputation milestone, you can get a blueprint. Data pads is a big one, so it will be a data pad that has a blueprint on it, and then you can download it, and that's a one-time download. Or you could
sell it
to someone else, gift it if you want to.
So just to add on that, it's a physical data bank that you can find.
Yeah.
So it's something that we can place in inventories, that we can place in in armor pieces from NPCs.
Yeah.
So something that you can physically pick up.
Treasure hunters, a whole new treasure hunter profession of people who go out there and do contested zones and everything and collect blueprints to sell to other people.
Yeah, but as Dick already stated, important note there is they are one-time use. So once they are consumed, the blueprint is then imprinted to whoever used the data pad. So it's, yeah, if you already got the blueprint on the data pad, make sure that you make some money out of it, I would say.
There's also NPC shop.
Okay, so one-time use isn't a one-time use; it's a one-time imprint. So it's a bind on use rather than bind on pickup.
So more common stuff that we're not too bothered about there being an adventure to go and find, like a decoration. You could
Crafting to cooking and cocktail making, yes, a good thing. Yes, it is. They're definitely going to let us make food and stuff like that because it's going to happen. So, anyone here from America? Oh, God damn it, Phoenix. I hate this shit. Stop this motherfucking shit. I'm just going to have to, ban you. Buy and equip from the MMO lingo? Yeah.
buy that blueprint in an NPC shop.
Would you ever consider a method of learning how to reverse engineer a blueprint from dismantling? I mean, if you dismantled 500 of the exact same gun, you probably figured out how to make it at this point.
There's no plan for that, but part of the upgrading, like learning the next tier of a blueprint, could include missions where you needed to do something like that. We definitely have been talking about that kind of process.
Listen, if you just dismantle the watch 7,000 custom Swiss watches, that doesn't mean you know how to make Swiss watches. You might be able to know how to assemble them, but you probably don't know how to fucking make them.
It's one of the 2 or 3 main ways of like learning how to upgrade your.
But if you've assembled 7,000 Swiss watches, you probably know how to improve it.
Blueprints that we've talked about.
Yeah, we called it research in the CitizenCon presentation, where we also have like other steps that you need to take to be able to figure out how to reach the next tier of the item that you own.
Let's talk about research a little bit, because that we touched on it during the
But what if I had a
crafting guide I
magical
mentioned
3D
now
printer that
more
did
times
it
than
for
I
me?
intended.
You don't, though. That's the problem. Your jutsu is not strong enough.
But give me a little primer. Give me a short nickel version of what research is.
So items have different tiers. Default blueprint you get is tier 1, and then you could research it to tier 2. And tier 2 will require different materials. It'll have access to a different banding of stats, which are higher than tier 1. And in order to get to that tier 2, you have to complete the research task, which we kind of just alluded to would be do X, Y, Z, initiate your research. Once it's done, you've got access to tier 2. And then you can go to tier 3, for most items, and then ships go up to tier 5.
Okay. I was wrong. I thought it was
virtue of the
reverse,
different
but-
tiers is probably depending on the item. I'm trying to remember what the virtue. We had a long conversation about the virtue of the tiers.
Yeah.
What's the virtue of it having a tier 3 version of?
That is why I
Of a rifle
dismantle
versus-
100 LH86 pistols, so I can print a Masterwork R97.
Exactly.
Version versus a tier 1.
Well, the main benefit.
There's another
Yeah.
question on the list that alludes to this, but
Let's do it now.
yeah. Well, one of the things is that not only can you get more stats, but you can get more options. So there'll be
And any with token dismantle stuff and recycle the materials, please let us at least recycle the materials, if anything. I think that's the plan. You should be able to recycle everything, almost everything. Anything that can be assembled, you can probably dismantle.
a material that you can have either different types of or different qualities of that will provide a trade-off between a buff and a debuff. So you can really lean into one stat that you really like if you want.
I wonder why they chose to have ships go to tier 5 rather than tier 3 like the rest of the items in the game. Because they want to pull more levers. My guess is that they probably want to make the actual hull upgrades very minute compared to the weapon and armor and other gear upgrades. So that they can go up to tier 5. So between tier 1 and tier 2 is a minor increase, and tier 2 and tier 3 is another minor increase. Tier 3 and tier 4 is a minor increase, and tier 4 to tier 5 is a minor increase, but between tier 5 and tier 1 is a major increase. There, again, more levers to pull. The idea being is that they can add a system that has enough flexibility, they can just do whatever the fuck they want to improve the qualities of these, and they can change things. Like I said, they could probably will use, like, you can use this material and get this outcome, or you can use this material and get this outcome. So like a trade-off system.
Too. That's
Yeah, so not only the stats will get generally better if you increase the tiers, but in the highest tier and in the highest tiers, you will even be able to affect or focus on a certain stat with the downside of affecting another stat in a negative way.
Okay. But more like, you know, you've done your GED and now you're focusing on a specific area, and you focus on your English degree and you forget how to do long form division, which is what happened to me.
well, Chris is really interested in that kind of trade-off between a buff and a plus and a minus when you're crafting, having that choice. So even though we're planning to do that definitely for the higher tiers, since we want to start iterating on that earlier, we're going to try and come up with some examples of that before we get to the actual upgrading.
And volunteering you for work.
I've already been told.
Bad idea. I think they need to add more options. Like, I like the idea of you don't just use one material to produce one outcome. You can use multiple materials to get a different outcome. Because that allows you to more refine what your outcome's going to be. Because not everyone wants a faster firing Karna or, custodian. But you might want a more stable custodian when you're firing. So you get, Bexelite rather than Hatonite, and you use Bexelite, and it makes the thing fucking rock solid stable. So you're just pushing there. So you don't have to increase the rate of fire. You just have to increase like the climb, so it's not climbing as much. And maybe you want higher capacity. So bigger magazine, armor with more slots versus more protection versus more insulation. You can do the thing that'll give you more slots, more protection, and more insulation, but it's like the medium. And then you can choose this, which will focus more on the slots versus the inflation, And then if you want to go like super high, you get like, oh yeah, this thing's got all the slots, but it's got less armor and less insulation. So you're just a walking like a mule. More options is better than less options. And I think a gradient scale is a good idea for that.
Yeah.
Why are armor and weapons?
I feel like they can make create multiple outcomes a single tier. More tiers just seems to extend the engagement and increase grind. That's the point. The point is that you have to to get the more options or get the better options, you have to grind. It's an MMO. It's going to have grind. They want you to craft 1,000 of the pistol before you can actually get the next tier, so you can get that 2% buff.
Skins separate blueprints. Wouldn't it be better to have them work like ship paints?
It would. It really would.
Next question.
No, so it's a tech limitation at the moment.
I've read the document over multiple times from Sitcon. I used to work in insurance. The Sitcon doc does not reference the tier upgrades being covered. It's covered with the, what do they fucking call it? The warranty. The upgrades are covered under warranty rather than under insurance. So you have to slap a warranty on something if you want to cover its upgrades.
Where if we want a red version of a blue helmet, we've got to make a new entity, and the red is like bound to that entity, and so in order.
So said item can break during your first firefight. I don't think that's the plan. That would be funny.
To craft that red helmet, you need a blueprint for that red one specifically. That's not the long-term goal. The long-term goal is a paint-like system, but
those warranty cover crafted tier upgrades, though, we don't know. CIG hasn't clarified. I think that CIG is leaving that open because it may also be that instead of paying you out the actual, replacing you the crafted tier upgrade, they pay you the value of that crafted tier upgrade. Because CIG also wants those crafted tiers to have degrading points. So as shitty as this sounds, your ship will eventually break to the point where you can no longer fly it, or it will be worth less than what you put into it. So you're going to have to build a new ship entirely from scratch to get it back to the tier that you want it to be at tier 5. And before anyone goes, why would you do that? Grinding. Engagement. Now, does that mean you're going to get into like 2 firefights and suddenly your ship's going to break? No. But there will likely, CIG wants it to be so that if you're in a crafted top tier ship after going through 1,000 firefights, you're eventually going to go, well, this isn't as good as it used to be, and I can't get the hull back up to 100% like I used to. So I'm going to have to think about, do I want to keep using it because it still works, or do I want to try to invest in a crafting upgrade to get more stuff? That's what it is.
Them biddies.
I want some inverse relations. Like increasing everything is possible to about 80%, but beyond that you drop the inverse property, like recoil versus damage or ROF.
100% I agree. I love that. And that's what they're talking about, is that Chris wants. And I like that idea because I like perks and debuffs, the perks and consequences systems that you see in like TTRPGs, because they make for more interesting realities. I don't see why it would give you 0. It wouldn't give you 0, but it would give you money back for it rather than giving you like the value of it rather than the full of it. What did CM Pool say? Come on, imagine they put the power into a gun so you have one shot. That would be fucking amazing and also super cinematic. I would love that. Where you can overclock your gun to a point where it's like, yeah, this is going to be this is a weapon that can surpass Metal Gear. This weapon can kill God in one shot, but you only have one shot. Don't fucking miss. This thing's going to break and kill everyone around you, but you might be able to take somebody out with you. Fire the Wade Force pistol. Exactly. Again, cinematic. As long as it's not a infinite death gun that you can fire 1,000 times.
Just the paint's on physical. So it's like in a very British way, it's a digital license to apply the paint.
It's a nice way to work into that. They tax you if you want to watch TV here.
They do.
You don't just get to watch TV. Just buying a TV doesn't mean you get to watch TV here.
Uh-huh.
You own a TV, but you don't get to watch it unless you pay the government a tax.
And they send you nasty letters if you don't.
They do.
Yeah, but they don't even
chase you up. Like.
They don't even know your name. They're like, resident, we will come for you. I'm like, you don't even know my name.
I've got a stack of those letters.
But yeah, the
fuck TV taxes. If you're in England, fuck your taxes. There's a reason why we destroyed millions of dollars of fucking tea. It's that fucking shit. It's the reason why we don't do that. You wear my hat while saying that. Fuck your taxes. The reason why we fought the revolution is specifically because fuck your TV tax.
Them biddies.
I will dump your telly in the harbor.
We'll take your TV tax and we'll throw it in the fucking ocean. You watch the TV anyways. They're actually legitimately having a problem now with that. I remember reading somewhere, Brits, feel free to correct me if you're actually awake. Holy shit. I think they're proposing putting a tax on streaming services because nobody watches fucking TV anymore. Yeah, no, there's a license. You have to have buy a TV license from the BBC in order to watch television from the BBC. This is unfortunately correct. I mean, I don't. I have a TV, but I use streaming services. But nobody pays the fucking TV bills, the TV licenses. So, like, they're losing money. And the difference is that PBS is actually paid for by the government, but it's also paid for by donations. Like, the vast majority of public broadcasting stations are actually paid for by viewers like you. And they also have corporate sponsorships. So, like, they'll have some corporations will, like, sponsor, like, Nova and shit like that. So, PBS is like NPR, not completely funded by the government. It's funded by a combination of government funds and private donations. Hey, for science. I love PBS. I grew up on PBS. I fell in love with anime because of PBS, because PBS was the only place that would actually broadcast anime outside of, like, Saturday morning cartoons. Yes and no. They said that the government can't ban, the government can't say you can't get any funding, give any funding to PBS, because that was actually a statement. I think there was a executive order by Trump that said, like, no government entities can give any money to PBS. But then they just defunded it through the budget anyways, so, like, there's no public funds to PBS or NPR. But both PBS and NPR still exist, even though they don't have government funding, because, again, it sucks, but they still have lots of other funding because they're publicly owned by, like, local people. So now it's all donations, right? And corporate partnerships, yeah. Like, they often will partner with, like, foundations and, like random shit, like DuPont will fund them for like a write-off and stuff like that. Yeah, but PBS doesn't run wires to your house or transmit signals through the air. Again, they need funding to pay for commercial operators. They do actually they used to run it through the air. That's literally how broadcasting worked. We do have something like the BBC in America, but it's the FCC. And it's mostly there to make sure that the signals don't get crossed. So you still have to pay for a license, but you have to pay for a license to broadcast on that frequency. And it's not like a fucking monthly license. It's the broadcasters have to pay for it, not the consumers. So we just inverted the relationship. So it's less of a consumer side and more of a the people running its side. No, the BBC is nothing like the FCC. It doesn't broadcast content. I'm talking about more like they have a similar they have the similar roles. The difference is that the BBC actually broadcasts the stuff. The FCC simply regulates it. but they fill similar roles in the sense of like using government funds to broadcast or to regulate who can get what kind of stuff. So yeah.
I don't even know.
a proper tint system for characters and armors has been on the wish list for so long. It's one of those things where you can't work on everything all at once. And every time you
C-SPAN is the funniest fucking television of all time. If you are ever bored as fuck and you want some good background noise, turn on C-SPAN, especially when they're taking call-ins. Call-ins are the most unhinged motherfuckers you have ever heard of. Because who the fuck watches C-SPAN on like a Tuesday night? It's fucking great.
do the priority call, there's something that just affects a few more people.
I can't tell you how many people I've heard on C-SPAN call-ins who are just high as fuck and just calling in because they're bored. Yeah, it's like QVC, only they don't have any filters because they, I think, legally can't like censor. Well, they can censor you with FCC stuff, but like they legally are going to get any opinions on there. So you get some wild fucking opinions from Americans, and it's so fucking patriotic. Gets my freedom boner going, baby. You talk about how the mole people are infiltrating the government. You do that, ma'am. It's your God-given right as an American. People have bled and died for your right to claim that Sky people are invading your kitchen there, sir. 100%. Listen, Coast to Coast is fucking tame compared to some call-in shows with C-SPAN, man.
Or affects an actual gameplay element getting better. That's just a little more important every time. But hopefully, its time on the wheel will come someday, because I'm a big fan of Barbie dress up. There might be a more appropriate term for it, but I've always called it, like, I spend so much time in every MMO I ever play just focused on.
That's correct, yeah. They will call in to tell a representative, like a representative will be on C-SPAN, and someone will call in and bring some shit up.
Who counts down the hits now?
To like random shit that they did it's actually nothing to be discussed. Of course, people will drag up shit, be like, "I know you from high school, you piece of shit. I remember when you kissed that man underneath the bleachers. We all knew. Fuck you." Like, it is so like gloriously fucked up. You voted to like incriminate trash bags, and I hate you. You know,
more than I do in real life. Making sure that
I'm literally not making fun of people. I just think it's just glorious to how unhinged Americans can get on C-SPAN. We can get absolutely blitzed ass fucking unhinged, and it's the most American thing you've ever heard.
My character looks exactly how I want them to look, and it's like that. So that has to extend from the armor to the weapons to the items, because it drives me crazy when I got a cool black and red thing, and I got a gun that's black and red, and I got the helmet black and red, and then I pull out a bright yellow tool, and I'm like, no. Let me color my tool. So you tell me, chat, am I in the minority or am I the only one? Drip or drown. There you go. Drip or drown. Are you planning to let players implement custom tags on cargo boxes for the inventory and tractor beam AR?
Also, we weren't off topic. They were talking about the BBC TV license. That's what we're talking about.
Yes. Yes. You'll be able to rename.
I like that. Slay or don't play. That's a good one.
Yes.
Boxes for the inventory. Are you planning to let players implement custom tags on cargo boxes for the inventory and tractor beam AR?
Yes.
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 You'll be able to rename boxes, inventory boxes, cargo boxes, and so when you zap them with your tractor beam, it'll say the name of the box.
When's that coming, tomorrow?
I don't think it does, you know. No, I don't think tomorrow's the release date for that one.
Hey, the crafting guide. This is a question. I didn't bring it up. The crafting guide has a short blurb on salvage updates for crafting. Can you give us more details?
So, salvage consists of two different methods of how you get you convert the.
You can take away my space suit. You can even take away my space lasers.
No reviews.
But you can never,
Ever.
take away my space game.
George Snow.
Ramble can just resubscribed for 16 months. Pub party, pub helmet, pub party.
Thanks for that Twitch Prime sub for 16 months. So, Replican, you're very, very important, Papa, very precipicer, very neat pedestrian. This is fun. We're going to have toss and cheers in chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. Everyone who forgot their multi-tool report to the Star Kitten crate. They will not be letting us color and name crates on the exterior. It'll simply be called Star Kitten crate when you pick up the box, when you hit an AR, or when you look over it, it'll say Star's Kitten crate on the the inventory screen rather than anything else. I'll find a way. They can't commit to ship naming. Do you think they can put a name on the side of the box? No, I think they'll do it in AR though.
The ship debris that you found into material. So one side is RMC, and right now I don't think we have any recipes making use of RMC, but
we don't yet, no.
In the future patches, we will have blueprints that actually will make use of RMC. So RMC will be already used as a craftable material there. On the other side, with the disintegration of all the construction material, I forgot the name because this name is killing me every time I am sitting.
They're your names, right?
Huh?
They're your names.
Yeah, they are my
Rubble.
names. No. It's so the construction materials that you get from the disintegration process. Right now, you get the construction material. That was never the intent. We always wanted to make the materials that you get from disintegrating the ship being based off what the ship is actually made of. So an example is if you find a Vendel ship, you get a Vendel material out of it. If you find the Gladios, you will get some GT alumnite, which is like the Aegis material from it. So you get like these processed materials in a certain quality, which the ships were made of, and then you can process them and reutilize them for the crafting process. So like everything that we dismantle, the goal is that this also applies in the larger scale, which is the disintegration of ships. So that means that the material that you basically recycle from them have the quality that they were made with. You lose the amount or some amount of the material.
This seems stupid. Like, because aren't you going to take construction materials and RMC to a refinery and refine them into the base elements they were in the first place? That makes more sense than just using RMC as a crafting material, unless it's like, you know, what we see with the like Vulture and stuff like that, where you can create like a multi-tool and fuses and such. Like as a temporary solution, or like a really shitty low quality solution, like recycling bits.
But at least the materials that it was made of, you can repurpose them with the quality that you found them in.
Yeah, and just a note on those, the Vandal materials, those will be exclusive to this collection method, so to speak. So there'll be like a high value in
the other way you can get them.
Yep.
Yeah, cannot invade Vandal space just out of them. Yeah.
Well, not yet.
Spoilers.
Nice
Virgil's right next to Nick's, all right? It's not fucking spoilers.
Milliway shirt. Thank you. Old heads might
Milliways.
recognize this
the
design. This design might look real familiar if you were in the project for years since 2014.
the verse.
And the very first work I did for the company. And if you don't know what milliways is, read a book.
Inferior to the Astropub, but still good.
It's rude. But read a book. It's a really good book. Will blueprints drop at boss fights? Blueprints drop from boss fights at some point?
We touched on that briefly.
The pads would be
Data
great.
pads, yeah.
Yeah.
I think for 4.7 we did introduce, I might be throwing Elliot under the bus here. I think we introduced a couple missions for the Ormondi and the Apex Valakar. So there's boss fight-ish associated blueprints at the moment. But the blueprints will be the data pads on the blueprints will be the good use case there.
Yeah.
Associated with the missions that you can complete for boss fights, as well as the loot that you can collect around a boss fight. Yeah, we definitely plan on that.
Yeah.
The Apex Valakar is not in the game yet.
What's it called then? The
Yeah, it is.
Stormworm. I forget its like official lore name.
It's an Apex Valakar. It's just an irradiated Apex Valakar.
That's the. What is the
irradiated?
Irradiated Valakar, yeah. The Apex irradiated is in
Yeah,
there. But the Apex Sand Valakar, still waiting.
That is a very good thing.
I was just talking to Brian Canary about it. Yesterday though. He's still so excited about it. It's coming along.
It is really cool.
They've been working on it.
We've changed up the fight a little bit.
I know we did this whole CitizenCon thing about it, and it's evolved so much since then. It's like,
well, we got something together that was playable. We tested it, and it wasn't good enough, so we made some changes. So that's how you make a better game.
heaven forbid.
By the way, the answer is that the reason why you can kill the Apex Valakar, the irradiated Apex Valakar with like lighter weapons is because it's weaker because of the irradiation. It has some unique properties because of the radiation, but it's weaker. So like the Sand Valakar, the normal Valakar is apparently going to be tougher because it's less, not as irradiated. I don't remember exactly where I heard that. It might have been in a monthly report, but it might have been also been in like some other just conversations. But the idea was that like the Apex Valakar is going to be a different, because it's a different type of Apex Valakar, it's going to be different. So
Do you try?
Will we be able to dismantle high quality NPC gear for the high quality materials?
I briefly touched on it with the dismantling of ships. It also applies to armor pieces that you find on NPCs. So the goal is that if you find, like the average NPC will just run around with standard gear, right? But you will find like our so-called boss enemies or elites or however you want to call them, and they might be carrying
Aces.
like better armor or better weapons. And if you then change ownership of them towards you and you decide to dismantle them, we have them crafted in the background. So what you get from dismantling them is actually the higher quality material that they were supposed to be crafted with.
are you saying it has cancer? Yes.
Yes, of course the radio show is better than the book. I mean, obviously. Except the book does get to fix a lot of things that were kind of problematic about the radio show. Like Trillian disappears for the entire second fit of the radio show. It's like this. But I've actually been, it's apropos of nothing, I've been secretly recording my own version of the radio show for like the last 3 months where I play all the characters for my daughter.
Hitchhikers?
Yeah. So basically, when it comes time to introduce your hitchhikers, it's actually me doing every voice.
Jared has a daughter? I didn't know that. That's the first time I've heard that.
Nice.
And whatnot. So she doesn't watch the show, so nobody tell her. Are blueprints for non-combat stuff planned?
Yes.
Yep. We've got
When
the
are
ship
you
components.
going to be done, Deck?
To be fair, most of them are done. We've got a few-
Every time we speak to Deck, it is like, yeah, most of them are done.
Hey, most of them are done, and then we go into review, and then
Yes.
they're not done.
And then
So
they are not done anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's to be fair to you, there's also there's also quite a
be
few
fair.
non-combat ones that we don't have planned yet because like it's a different process, especially when it comes to food and drink.
Correct. Yeah. There's some non-combat stuff coming in, like the quantum drives, but like Rick says, there's a bunch more that we'll still add in.
Well, that's his dad's hat. Dad Lando is his dad's hat. So Before they get into it, they did actually say that there's going to be a specific fabricator for food and drink. So like food and drink is going to have a different fabricator. They call it like a protein fabricator. Fuck that. It's called a food fab. I don't give a shit if you say whatever CIG fucking calls it, it's fucking wrong. It's a food fab because that sounds cool.
I've been doing this show for better part of a decade, a little more than a decade. And there has never been a piece of truth uttered more succinctly than, well, all of it's done, and then it goes to review, and then it's not done. Like, that's game development. That's game development. I thought it was done.
It's not a replicator. It's not materializing things out of nowhere. It's just a very fancy microwave.
Well, nobody else in that room did. Or those two people didn't, and you have to, you synthesize the opinions, and you go back and you try. It's just this constant iteration before you release, then after you release. You keep going with a live service game. It's just, lots of things are done until they get to review.
You do see the progress as you develop it. It's definitely worth it. So,
with the plan of gear degrading.
Before it continues on, the problem is like with food, the fuck you're gonna make a double dog out of? We don't even have like resources to gather that you would make a double dog out of, let alone, pizza or noodles or cruise or booze. We don't have those resources in the game. So like they have to make those resources in the game first. At least with a gun, you know what you're going to fucking make because you can just invent bullshit like materials and minerals that they already have.
Over time.
Yeah, but you don't carve out grazers. The biggest thing you get from a grazer is like a grazer's tongue. Everything else is like, God, what is it? What is it otherwise? Because it's not like the eggs that you would get in there. We got to be able to process them cows.
And only having a limited amount of repairs until it is no longer usable. How do you ensure this game does not become a maintenance simulator? And I'm gonna go get a drink.
Yeah.
Take your time.
So it's something that I think we brought up in different conversations several times at this point. So we talked about that when we talked about engineering. I think we talked about that even last time when...
Process tongue, not far-fetched, but what do you make the bread out of? Tongue?
I think Elliot and I were sitting here.
Mm-hmm.
So degradation is, or every system that we do is never meant to like annoy people. We want players to enjoy playing our game. And that also means that we have to be very conscious about some decisions that we take. Degradation is one of those decisions where we are very conscious about that. If we do it wrong, we can be very impactful in your everyday gaming life.
Didn't they say they want farming in the game? Yeah, but it's just not in the game yet. That's my point. It's like there's no reason to put in a food fabricator when you have nothing to fabricate food out of. So it makes more sense to get farming in and then use the materials you get from farming to make food.
So what we do here is that we still want degradation to play a big part in our game because it's a way of us having you exchange components, taking care of components, taking care of your equipment so that they degrade slower and the functionality is reduced in a slower rate than normally they would be. But we also want to make sure that there is a floating economy. And like in real life, at some point, the laptop that you own will not be as performant anymore as it is right now. So
too late.
It's thanks to capitalism, you want to buy a new one because you need a faster PC. And we need a similar system in our game because we need a thriving economy, and a thriving economy you get by people.
Sir, I believe you mean the word freedom. Because of freedom, you need to buy a better PC. You must consume, patriot, because only patriots consume to increase the economy. Hail Super Earth.
Buying things. And in our case, one of the levers that we have there is actually the degradation, because it is like the degradation impacts the functionality. So the older your item gets, the less functionality it will have. We will give you opportunity
They are
to...
simulating planned obsolescence. Too much immersion. Go back.
As stated, to like if you treat it well, the functionality ratio will, or the degradation process is slower, so the functionality will remain longer. We will also give you ways to sometimes, in rare occasions, be able to restore some of the functionality of the item. We will make use, for example, of the crafters that you have, where you basically can repair that, which might be more sustainable for the component than putting your multi-tool onto it and repairing it. So it might be a good choice to use the crafting repair functionality over the hand tool repair functionality. But overall, at some point, everything has to go. and you have to replace. So because that...
Thank you, Thurston. We've got entropy. Everything will die eventually. So we're going to have to simulate the entropy.
That then introduces you crafting new components, maybe even better components. So there's some interesting mechanics behind that. But there's also like the things, we are very, very aware that sometimes you have this one item that you don't want to lose. So we also want to make sure that we tailor towards those things that you will not lose it.
Right. You know, you do all that work to earn Ashbringer.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want it to break.
Yes. And just to give a very, very concrete example, because we have been working on that actually for quite some time now.
Ashbringer?
Yes.
Yes.
Finally. No, it's the degradation cycle, because we have been like very vague with all the numbers, but it's more like we are talking about game sessions, and a concrete example, it's not signed off, it's just me giving you a sneak peek of what we have been discussing is, so we are talking for a power plant about a week, maybe 1 week and a half of usage, full usage. That means you have the time using it until it reaches zero functionality. So you basically have to replace it.
You say things like that. I have to interject. Are you saying a week of game time or a week of real life time with you not logged in?
No, it's play time. So you playing actively, using the component gradually, so it is not even, so the component is not resting, the component is not turned off, the component is on an average use case throughout a week and a half.
So more than 150 hours before you have to.
Yes.
Well,
so
let's not give exact numbers.
Yeah, that's my point. That's my point.
But like the high level intent is that it's not something that you're going to have to deal with every play session. It's a long-term mechanic.
Yeah.
That's a lot faster than I thought. Hopefully they tear that down, because I was expecting more like a couple of months, not like you got to build a brand new fucking cooler from scratch every week and a half. That sounds fucking awful. That sounds like Maintenance Simulator 6000, guys.
Ebon Crux, first time chat.
A week of in-game play. But does that mean like a week of, like, in terms of hours of me holding the trigger down, firing the gun? Or is that me a week of playing the game, like on average, like 4 hours a day over the course of five or 7 days? Yeah, because he also didn't say actual usage. That's what I'm assuming he was meaning, but he said something else. So I'm just like, of use time when it's powered and in use. Yeah, but he also said like playtime. So like, I'm not always in my ship turning on my quantum drive. Does that mean that my quantum drive is going to wear out slower than my power plant, which is going to be on more often? What if the ship blows up? This doesn't fucking matter. It's gone. You're going to have to get a new one.
Hey, welcome to the chat. Said, just don't do it like this other game that I'm not going to slag off. I I can't do more than 2 hours of gaming without repairing all my gear 20 times. I don't know how prone to hyperbole they are, but that's what you're talking about.
Exactly.
I remember.
And like I said, the number that I gave is just a very, very rough number.
Example.
It didn't go through any iterations yet.
Yeah.
But also, like, this is like the extreme, right? We are talking about 100% functionality versus 0% functionality. There are degradation bits in between that we hope actually increase like interesting games.
Remember, he said this design isn't signed off. It's just what he's currently working on. And again, it's one of those things. It's done, and then it goes to review, and then a bunch of people have voices, and you make changes. Then it goes to PTU. Then a bunch of people, give feedback, and then it's changed. Then it goes to live, and then even more people give feedback, and then it's a process. It continues to go. But I think we're keenly aware of it. I remember when we were about to introduce Thirst and
effectively, it should be like a month or so of gameplay of hardcore. I'm playing this game 4 to 8 hours a day. It should be to the point where it's 0. But most people are not going to replace your component at 0, because the thing about it is, and they said this as well, is when you repair it, it will not go back up to the top. So if it gets damaged down to 50%, and you repair it, it'll go to 99% rather than 100% after a certain point of time. Then it'll go down to 98, 97, 96, 95, 94, 93, 92, 91. And so you won't be able to get that maximum percentage over time. That gap will slowly grow as you do it. And most people are going to swap that shit out at 70%. Because again, it's a matter of efficiency. And at a certain point, people are not going to risk the efficiency of a drive or a vital component if it's below a certain threshold.
Hunger and player, I can't think of the word right now, but everything, player injuries and stuff. And everybody was like, oh my God, I'm going to spend all my time drinking pips and dealing with hydration and stuff like this. And even if it is a bit overwhelming when it goes out, whatever that is, that's what continual balance is for. That's what this process of running an open, a live environment in the middle of our development.
If someone shoots your guns, does it damage it? Usually, yeah. If someone shot your gun out of your hand, it'll probably damage it. And I think it does in Star Citizen, where if your weapons or components get hit, they will do damage. Live support too? Yeah.
Is for, so that we can get this data in real time. We have our ideas, then we can test them, and then we can have better ideas and change stuff. And that's, it's been proven out in the process. So I understand the knee-jerk reaction to degradation being this terrible, terrible thing. But I've known the people here for a long time now. I know what your intents are.
It is not, the intent is not to make it a thing you have to constantly worry about. The intent is to make it a money sink. It is a money and time sink. And everyone goes, well, I don't want that. Then don't use it. Use something else. That's the idea, is that eventually CIG wants you to be the Cowboy Bebop crew, where you're like, fuck, I got to make some money. Otherwise I'm fucked this next one. They want you to play the Firefly, where you're constantly running on the edge of survivability and replacing your ship parts. But they also want you to be able to get ahead, so you can actually, plan ahead and deal with those problems well ahead, so you don't have to worry about it. But they do want those tense moments where, you missed some maintenance cycle and fuck, my power plant went kablooey. Now I can't fucking power anything. I need help, Yeah, like the survival mechanics are really not that big if you drink a cruise once every 2 hours. If you eat and drink once every 2 hours, you're fine. And every gameplay or every mission on average takes between 30 minutes and an hour. So 2 missions, and you stop for about less than a minute to drink or eat something, and then you move on. It's that sort of thing. You're gonna need some light maintenance. Or if you don't pay attention to it, it's gonna bite you in the ass because you're not paying attention to it. But there are plenty of other survival games that are just like eat and drink simulator, stuff your face simulator.
I know what drives you guys. I'm not worried. Even if it's too severe, like that damn boom tube thing. That boom tube is ridiculous, Zach.
He will be watching.
You need to tune that thing. You need to bring it down.
I had a chat with
I disagree, Zach. Turn that thing into a fucking nuke. Turn it into a weapon of mass destruction. Not just blow up a ship. It blows up an entire fucking space station.
It's a little.
There he is.
There he is. He's in chat. That boom tube is. But that's the process. You know, you gotta see. You gotta see. Is this overpowered? I don't know. Let's put it in. Let's see. Oh.
You're throwing Chris under the bus. I like it.
You can see Chris in the chat.
So it's like we continue to.
We need more different places to meet people for eating. We do. We need to be able to, like, if you're not in your if you need to hop out to a place to go eat, you need like a rest stop. We need random rest stops in places where you can just meet people, because that's fun.
We continue to tweak and
A grenade launcher sucks. It should be taken out of the game.
and twerk. And I don't twerk. Torsten twerks though.
No.
What? We got time for a couple more. Is there a plan to provide high-level design briefs for major feature releases to help bridge the gap between initial implementation?
Okay, I didn't see that as Grand Admiral Thrawn. I read that as Grandma Thrawn, and I was like, what the fuck is that name? Playing Star Citizen right now, just did the first mission where it starts off making you collect dung. It literally took 3 hours to collect dung. Welcome to Star Citizen. Did you fall through the planet? If your point is like, I'm new and I just get started, you'll complete it faster. Once you start realizing how the games work and that kind of stuff, you do things faster and you get better at them. There's certain missions that'll take a little bit longer, but it shouldn't take you 3 hours to move one box from point A to point B. Nobody couldn't get out of the cave. That sounds like a skill issue there, Thrawn. We did after a while, but that's probably where most of your experience was where the fuck are we? How do we get out? Everyone has gotten lost in those caves at least once. Just at least be thankful right now at Grand Admiral Thrawn, that there were no fucking creatures in there trying to eat you yet. It was a skill issue. Don't worry. You will get better at this game, and once you get to the point where you actually know what you're doing, the ground will literally eat you for no fucking reason. You'll call up your ship, and it'll come up inverted and upside down, like inside out and upside down. Let me see what else. You'll have your helmet on, and then you'll just start dying because of suffocation randomly. You will shoot a NPC point blank in the face with a shotgun that should kill them, and they will shrug it off like you just pissed on them, and then they will proceed to launch you across the room with a single shot of a pistol. And you will not die. You will die when you get up randomly for some reason. Yes, you will crash into invisible rocks in space. Walk into the elevator too quickly. You'll walk in an elevator and someone will bump you in the elevator, and you will phase through the elevator walls into like the Twilight Zone.
As mentioned several times in the show, we did. Now, not as detailed as we used to. This person might be referring to the ye old days where we would write up this entire thing about what we did. We did a design brief on Mixmaster. We did a design brief on an entire game loop about how to make drinks for NPC passengers and keep them happy, whatever. And the reality of development is that so many things have changed since then. Systems have changed. People have changed.
Welcome back to the game, Greg. There's a lot of new people coming back from the game. I don't know why that is. I've seen a lot of people doing YouTube videos being like, I tried Star Citizen for the first time. Like, I've literally seen 4 videos with that same fucking title that were released in the last 2 weeks. which is one of the reasons why I'm desperately trying to get this fucking beginner's guide to Star Citizen lore video out that I've been working on for months. This is like, oh shit, now's the time. Now's the time. Free fly. This was before the free fly happened. I guess the free fly might be increasing it, but like yeah, Braun was already a backer. So
all grown, and it's just the likelihood that document is anything remotely accurate is, you don't need me to make a comment on it. You should be able to tell. So we moved away from full-on design briefs like that because all too often it just led to disappointment. Because again, we ended up changing it because we had to, because of some technical limitation, or changing it because somebody new joined the team and came up with a better idea. And it's like, well, no, we're not going to stick with the old idea if it's not as good. We want to do the new idea. But now we've changed. You didn't do what you said you were going to do and stuff, even though it's something we believe is better. So we did move away from those old, super detailed design briefs.
there we go. Now I'm unmuted. Sorry. I was muting myself so I didn't say something stupid. And then I said something and I muted myself because I was saying something smart. So someone's saying, crafting is better and Squad 42 is coming in. But all of those sort of like, I tried Star Citizen for the first time, videos that I saw weren't really focusing on Star Citizen in terms of like crafting. They were focusing on, combat. There was one that we raided into where one of the guys was brand new and he was drunk as fuck trying to mine. And he was just blown away from EVAing out of a mole to be like, this is a fucking rock that they were about to mine. Professional streamer. Yeah, I've done this twice already, possibly even 3 times today. And that's not even my record.
Of yore, and that maybe that's what they're referring to. But we have made an effort for this last year to update things like the mining guide and the salvage guide and the crafting guide and the medical guide and the cargo guide and stuff like this, and make a lot of our intentions known, make a lot of our philosophies known, and give a glimpse at the future of where this feature is going, as like we did with medical and like we did with crafting lately. So engineering. Thank you.
Yeah.
So there is that effort. It won't be as detailed as it was back in old days.
We have those big new features that we want to explain to people as best we can, especially since we're going to be iterating on them, and we don't want to do in-game versions of those tutorials yet. We want to have those available for people.
Yeah. And then of course we do shows like this, where we talk to the designers and we explore their intentions and what their struggles are and stuff like that. I asked you how you were feeling about crafting. How are you feeling about inventory right now?
It's
be real. Sorry, you can be real.
Yeah, it has improved features. So proximity loot is very nice. You can take the 1SCU store all with you, and you can just hoover up the loot as you go. It needs to be snappy though. It needs to interact like quickly. It needs to be instant. So we're aware of that, and we are proud of the features that it's gone out with, and we are continuing to work on the interactivity and the responsiveness.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice to see an improvement to the inventory system. It's frustrating to see some of the things that we wanted to get fixed that didn't make it into the build. It's frustrating to see some of the performance limitations that we haven't been able to solve yet, but we're actively working on it. It'll continue to get better.
Anything in 4.8 you can point to might help?
That's a when question.
4 wide?
No, dude.
Yeah, true actually.
I'll tell you when 4.8 comes out. It comes out in the middle of May.
It sounded like will this feature be?
No. Is there something? Is there work in 4.8?
There is. So it can be quite hard to see the icons. So we are going from 5 across the top on a row to 4 across the top on the row. And
So did you make the icons bigger? Or?
yes, just the whole thing scaled up as far as the inventory icon. And then not in 4.8, but related to that is we will have the support for widescreen, for dynamically sizing the inventory panels, and you'll have the option to scale up and down the icons yourself.
Oh.
And if you scale them all the way down, they just turn into a text list instead of a series of icons. It's just a text list.
Is the scaling in 4.8?
No.
Okay, that's why I had to ask.
Well, yeah, I said not for 4.8
Okay,
widescreen.
I missed that part. I heard being able to scale your icons, and I was like,
Most of them probably heard that as well.
okay, but in development.
Yeah. For 4.8, we went with the larger
4.8 we get the
icons.
larger.
Yeah, just to make it more visible, and then the scaling is coming, and also like the improvements to like the actual rendering of those icons.
Right, you mentioned improving the lighting.
Yeah,
and
yes.
stuff like that. What about the rotation? So some of them, I feel, go a little too fast to tell what they are.
Too fast?
I don't know.
So we have the rotation of the icon within the inventory box.
Yeah.
And if they're broken, that's my fault because I set those up.
Okay.
So
maybe I'm just
maybe they will be fixed. So there's a couple of changes.
Send
going on.
Declan an email at
maybe
Yeah.
I'm just slow.
I did. Don't tell Ian this, but I put the undersuits. I put the undersuits the wrong way around, so they're facing arse front.
Two more questions and we're done. Why aren't there any backpack blueprints?
Just didn't have time in 4.7. They'll be there in 4.8.
Oh, so those will be
backpacks.
Yes.
so, some more non-combat.
Yeah, that's true. Backpack doesn't shoot.
and so what are the stats of backpacks?
Well, no, to be fair, they won't have stats.
Okay.
Eventually, they would. Stuff like weight. But yeah, it's just nice to craft your own backpack, so we're adding that blueprint in.
Okay. And last question, because I don't know the next time we're going to get to talk about this topic. What do you want to say to people? It's now been out there for a couple weeks now, about a month. I'm not. Nobody's ever looked at Jared and said he knows what day it is. What do you want to say to people about crafting and inventory today?
I think we're very proud of it, and we love the feedback we receive. It's great seeing like people interact with it, and we'll continue to iterate, continue to build upon it. It's nice to see. It's a big feature. It's going to be a long-running feature, so we're excited to have it out.
Okay.
Get out there and try it if you haven't. Start playing with it. Give it your feedback, because we're going to be working on it actively for quite a while, and there's a lot more features to come and a lot more iteration to come, and I'm really excited about where it's going.
It made friends of mine play mining, even though they don't like mining. So it definitely had some attractiveness to people.
And see, you touched on something, but it brought people who weren't going to try one game loop to try a game loop. And that is how you make a successful MMO personally. Not just that alone, of course, but inviting people and making it encouraging to them to step outside their comfort zones and explore all the different aspects of a game, or how games thrive and live. Like the ability, I was thinking about this earlier, like all the ways blueprints. There are going to be people who just chase blueprints. The Pokemon players who are just like, oh no, you showed me a list of 350 things. I have to collect all 350 and whatever. And you can set these blueprints across missions for all manner of gameplay. And people can try medical for the first time if they've never done that. People can try salvage for the first time if they've never done that. I mean, it's systems like this are ones that truly touch every single aspect of the game. And if we do it right and we make it fun and it works, then it always has to work. The opportunity there to bring players to more aspects of the game are just fantastic. Blueprints and crafting have been the most exciting feature aspect for me in a long time. This is a big year for me. The biggest feature for me is crafting, and the biggest content for me is tactical strike groups. I've waited for this thing. So the fact that we've started this journey with crafting now,
have you played it?
The fact that And the fact that I sit on the playthroughs. I sit on the playthroughs.
Good.
To say that I am a bad pilot is an understatement.
In a turret then, Jared.
I have peripheral neuropathy, and it twitches every once in a while and stuff like that. You know how people like blame their controllers? No, I blame my own hands and whatever. So I'm not good with anything that requires a lot of fine control, unfortunately. And flying through the trench run and racing the distortion and whatnot, I'm like, nope, not. I'm happy just watching. I'm happy just watching, and relishing in the enjoyment of other people. So having that crafting journey start, in 4.7. Having tactical strike groups start in 4.8. It's a really exciting time for the project. Have we gone live to PTU yet, or Evocati?
Friday.
Have we told them the tactical strike groups is in 4.8?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, they have.
Well, tactical strike groups is in 4.8. It's super cool. Get into PTU when that goes live.
It's
all right.
Here's the problem, Jared. Fucking social tools aren't in 4.8, so it's gonna suck ass.
It's been cool seeing people become better pilots just doing some of those runs.
Jared, why did you stop? You wanted to say a third thing about the battlecruiser? Did I want to say something about the battlecruiser? What more would I say that a portfolio update and a Galactopedia update haven't already done? All right, so that's it for Star Citizen Live. Torsten's looking at me, he has no idea. It's like,
because I gotta do one. I gotta do one. I did a salty one. I gotta do a positive one because it's also talking about lore. So we're gonna do this as well. The entire video froze? It's not on my end. You're back? Okay. Maybe YouTube had some struggles. Anyway, we're going to do a capsule because I did a salty capsule. Now I'm going to do a sweet capsule, which is for the Odin. Since the Anvil Odin is something that I've been effectively fucking calling for years. Though I didn't say, I said it was a variety of different capital ships. I thought it was going to be a smaller capital ship, which we might still have a smaller capital ship. But the Odin is definitely going to be a larger capital ship. All right. Pull that up. CIG is also not being subtle about it. Hey, Grim's here. How you doing, buddy? You and I have disagreements on how CIG's handled the Squadron 42 package. I saw your post, and I'm like, I get why I post it. Don't like it, though. I'm doing good. I'll have to snag you to talk to you about I see both sides as well. I have complicated feelings about it, as I made a video about it. But I need to get you and X and other folks on to talk about ships. If I can get you and X and drop the capsule. Ferrister on to talk. That'd be good. It is the battlecruiser. We know the Odin's a battlecruiser. Here, let me do this recording. Greetings and salutations, fellow traveler. Welcome to another capsule. That is right, capsule. This is a small segment of my office hours live stream that I do on youtube.com/theastropub live and twitch.tv/theastropub on Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. So check us out live. We've done some salty stuff. We're going to do some sweet stuff today. This is going to be talked about, probably posted a little bit later than the salty stuff, but we'll see. This is a great example of why you should pay attention to lore, though the CIG's bad at this, so they just sort of updated stuff. But there was an update. Hit the wrong buttons. Let me pull this up again. All right, I have it up. So, CIG did an update to one of the portfolios for a ship manufacturer. That's not news usually, but this was a big one because at the very end, we have this update. It's believed that Anvil will be revealing a brand new ship in 2956 that industry insiders described as, quote, the future of modern naval warfare, unquote. So, what does that mean? Well, that same quote has been floating around in the audio files that will play over the loudspeaker of Invictus. That has been happening since I think the first Invictus launch week ever. And I caught on to it that Anvil Aerospace is working with engineers at Killian, I think, to make the making the future of modern naval warfare, the future of the Navy. And the thing about that was, Killian is not a place you go to produce a fighter. It's where you go to produce a large ship. The Killian shipyards is where the Carrack first showed up. So large vehicles, especially capital class vehicles, are produced in the sky docks of Killian. So I knew that Anvil was producing a capital ship. I have been the crazy man in the woods crying out about Anvil building a capital ship for many years since then. However, like I said, I thought it was going to be a frigate, not a larger ship. Now, with the release of the battlecruiser and this, plus another new change, which this was showed up on the Galactopedia. Odin, spacecraft, human. Apparently, this was pushed live before they were ready, and they freaked out and changed it, and then we got changed to what this was. I don't think anyone captured the original one, though I could be wrong, and this could just be a clever marketing scheme. Either way, Odin. So this is in the same day. These two things happen the same day: the update to the profile and the Odin post. It's absolutely obvious what we're going to see. The battlecruiser is an Anvil Aerospace Odin. That's what it is. Do we know more than that? Well, no, we don't. I can tell you that the stuff we saw at Squadron 42, those were cruisers, not battle cruisers. And I can also tell you that if Anvil Aerospace is making the Odin, then they're not going to jump straight to the Odin. This is going to be many years in development. In order to get that scale for Anvil Aerospace, they're going to need other ships of that scale or smaller scale or similar scale to build the not the blueprints, but I forget what they call them. The like modules that they use to produce larger vessels. It's one of the reasons why the Ironclad exists, is because they needed something that could build large modules for the Kraken. And it just so happens that they are working on another Anvil ship, another large Anvil ship that they mentioned they're starting to work a couple of years ago. Asset library, thank you. Kits, that's what it was, manufacturer kits. They just so happened to announce another ship that was going under production randomly out of the blue. The Liberator. So, That is the reason why the Liberator was put into production, because they knew they were going to work on the battle cruiser, the Odin, and they needed the kits to be able to build out the Odin. So I'm going to make a crazy prediction here. The Liberator is going to get bigger. That's not a crazy prediction. Everyone knows that. It's almost certainly going to get bigger. I think we're also going to get variants of the Liberator. We're going to get a version of the Liberator that's specially designed for something different, similar to the Ironclad and the Ironclad Assault. Why? Because they need to build out assets. One of those assets is going to be gigantic gun turrets. So if we don't see a Liberator variant, we will see another capital ship before the Liberator is released. I don't know what it would be, unless they do sort of a straight to flyable version. My guess, it would be something along the lines of an Idris class, or maybe a Polaris class, maybe a Corvette or a frigate. In lore, it makes a lot of sense that Anvil might be replacing the Idris, because the Idris is a old vessel. It is ancient. It's 500 years old. It's one of the first modern sort of capital class ships of humanity, and it shows. And it's being replaced, but there's no... In fiction, it's being replaced, but in reality, we don't see it being replaced. So the only obvious answers are either Anvil or RSI. RSI already has the Polaris, so I could definitely see CIG having Anvil fill that role. So if we don't see a Liberator variant, we will likely see a frigate, Anvil frigate, which will be a stepping stone between the Liberator and the Odin. I still think it's going to happen, because that's one of my original predictions, but I still think that that's a logical progression for shipbuilding, and also to build out ships that will have big guns or scalable turrets and stuff like that. So there you have it. Not only are we going to get the battle cruiser, but because we're going to get the battle cruiser, we're likely going to start getting more Anvil ships. On top of that, we're likely going to get updates to Anvil ships like the Carrack, which is an older ship, but a larger ship that needs the updates to match with modern Anvil designs. What do you think? I want to hear your thoughts down below on anything I just talked about. Do you think I'm right? We're going to get a Liberator variant or a frigate, an Anvil frigate, along with the Odin? Are you going to get the Odin? What price do you think the Odin is? I'm not going to even ballpark that, because we're talking mortgage numbers, like insane amounts of money for something like that. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for watching. Remember to join us on twitch.tv/theastropub, youtube.com/theastropublive. And of course, if you did like this, like the video, subscribe for more content, and hit the bell icon to be notified when these release. Thank you for watching. Like I always say, hope to see you someday in the black. Oh, like Grim is here. Am I crazy for thinking we're going to see a Liberator grow? It's just not built for the job that it was designed for. And on top of that, it was built around that weird transition time when we go from Star Citizen post 2015, but pre 1.0. Like, I think what they need to do is turn the Liberator into a littoral combat ship, or not LCAC. What is it called? LDC. Basically, they need to have a landing craft air cushion. It's not LCAC. That's what it's designed to look like. Is an LCAC, but I think it actually needs to function like the San Antonio class. The amphibious transport docks. So this is to give you an example. This is the San Antonio class. It has some combat capabilities, but it actually picks up LCACs. It has its own machining bay. It has large spaces for troops to deploy. It's sort of just a landing craft, but it's not just a landing craft. It also has places to service other vehicles and, you know, that kind of thing. You can see on the inside here, it has spaces for ground vehicles, including tanks and trucks, and plus LCACs to be able to take it all to the front. You can see this is how it kind of functions. The one that brought the Orion capsule back from Artemis 2, that's what I'm thinking about. A combat-ready crucible. LHA. Yeah, like an LHA. Here's another example of the LHA. This is the America class. It's basically a mini aircraft carrier, but it's not built as an aircraft carrier. It's built for maintaining, like, this. It's got that same back end where it can drops off troops and stuff like that. I do think that is the main purpose of the main future of the Liberator. It's essentially an escort carrier. Well deck, thank you. That's what it's called. Yeah. Let me look it up. Is it in the Okay, I'm bringing up Squadron's Super Liberator. The Super Liberator. I like it. I had a glass of wine that night. I like it. I think it works. Effectively, the Liberator needs to be able to hold a Valkyrie. It needs to be able to hold a Valkyrie so it can transport vehicles and troops to the ground without leaving space. But it also needs to be able to support Hornets. That's the dumbest ship ever. I love it. Shut up. Well, that's the thing, is that what we might have is a Liberator and then the Liberator Assault, which is instead of a carrier top, it's got gun top. Because they're going to need to have some kits for those guns. They're not just going to steal the guns off of the the cruiser. They might, but they're going to want to make the kit uniquely Anvil. So I think they'll probably kit bash that into there. Liberator Assault has points for 30 point defense cannons. Yes. I'm just telling you, the Liberator is the key. The Liberator is their kit that they're going to use to build the battlecruiser, because CIG is fucking easy to read. Not because they're bad at hiding things, but because they have a logical progression on what they do. How they make things has been well established by them, and in terms of like by how they've talked about it, but also how they demonstrated it. So a Kraken Junior, it's probably going to be about the same size as the Kraken, I think. What's the Kraken size? $270? Yeah, I can see it. I mean, the Kraken's going to get bigger anyways. They even said that. It's gonna change a little bit, so it's probably going to get bigger than 270. But yeah, I had 250. The Liberator isn't that far off. The Liberator is 119 meters. If you doubled it, it would be 240 meters. So yeah, about the same size as a Kraken. It's effectively an Anvil Kraken. An Anvil's crack at the Kraken. True. It could also, the battlecruiser might be modular, which means that the Liberator may also be modular as well. So you can swap out those landing pads for guns. Am I crazy to think that bringing out a ship named Odin is fun timing with the Squadron stuff going on? Probably. The good guys version, exactly. The Liberator could also be the heart of a crafting fleet, prospectors, salvagers, moles, moths, etc. I mean, that's people have been wanting to use that with the Kraken all the time. I think the major difference would be between the Liberator and the Kraken would be that the Liberator would also be used to assault ground targets. So it would be, whereas the Kraken is designed to stay up in space and sort of stay around an area and land when it needs to refit and refuel. The Liberator is more of a get to the ground as well, like to deliver vehicles and such. So it's more of a landing assault craft as well as a support craft. Yeah, Odin, the Odin system, yeah. I will say that the Kraken almost uses the entire capital hangar metric, so it could grow, but I wonder if CIG would need to scale the capital hangars a bit too, which they've done before. They probably will, simply because they're also going to have to add in things like fabrication and probably cargo decks. I don't think they had cargo elevators in the original plan for the Kraken, and I think they're going to have to use cargo elevators in the Kraken. Someone said it on Grimstream, but the Odin needs to carry 2 Saber Ravens. Yes. Good night there, Grim. Thanks for hanging out, bud. Yeah, I'll message you probably in early May. Let's see if we can get that done. Ethan Paul, my overcaffeinated theory on the Odin. CIG is letting us pilot an entire planet like that episode of Invader Sim. My theory is that CIG is lazy with fucking names. For those of you who don't know, CIG almost called the Perseus the Odin. That was the original name of the Perseus, and then they changed it. And so CIG is just reusing the name. It's like, I'm glad they're doing something other than like Western European names. And Anvil does make sense. So you have the Asgard, the Valkyrie, and now the Odin. So you do have some Norse names in there. But you couldn't have called it like the Krishna or the Amaterasu is probably too long. Trying to think of other mythical beings from non-Europe that would be important. The Yamato, yeah. Other mythologies are available, exactly. They like punchy names. So, and the problem I've found with a lot of mythologies outside of Europe is that not all of them have very punchy. They usually have very long compound names for like gods and heroes and such. Shiva would be a good one. Konoshu. I can't wait to see what color the Odin's Legionnaire paint will be. I know, right? Don't worry, the Odin will get a Liberator paint as well. So you can when you say, "Oh, I'm getting the Liberator," are you talking about the ship, the paint for the Valkyrie, or the paint for the Odin? Amaterasu would have to be a ship. That is also true. What is the name of the Aztec god of death? That would be a good one. It's a little too long. Michlante Kutil? Kutli? Michlakantut Kuti? I can't say the full name. That's the Lord of Death. Mitlan. Tekulti, that's his name. Because it's a combination of he's the Lord of Mictlan, which is the land of death. His name is Tekulti. So you could have called it the Anvil Tekulti. That actually does punch really hard. The Tekulti. We've had this conversation before. Kutli? The Anvil Cool Tea. Anubis would be good. Anvil Poutine. And there's like fucking thousands of famous like African gods and heroes from various myths from all over the continent. Though I do think that if you did Oh, the Mayan founder. God, no, I can't even pronounce that fucking name. It's Pinchiyax Kukutmo. Not Mayan. I'm God damn it. I'm thinking of Mayan is not. That's Yucatan Peninsula. Inca. There we go. That's I forgot his name. Manco Capac. Atahualpa. Or Husakar. All of those are great names. Pachkuti is another good name. You could also use a lot of, Gilgamesh is a good one. You could have used Saladin, famous, Islamic hero, Arabic hero. But I guess he was Egyptian, wasn't he? Tecumseh. The Quetzalcoatl? Yes. Osiris? Yes. I mean, it's technically sort of Western, but he's North African. You could also have done Hannibal. The edifice. Again, I'm trying to think of like non-Western Western references. One of my favorites is the it's the name of the I think it's the Aztec underworld. No. It's the Mayan underworld. Give me 2 seconds. Zibalba. It's Mayan. Okay. It literally means place of fear. Wukong, that would be a good one. Lots of Chinese myths and legends. Yeah, Anastasia, Spider Trickster, the famous names for Coyote, which is a famous figure that shows up in a lot of Native American folklore. The Babylon. The Sumer. The Yeti. If they had to stick with Western names, at least bring Latin names. Santa Ana. Carabas. They already have Carabas a little of times. Just watch the series American Gods to get the names. The Xi'an. Oh, wait. Advocioto. Coyote. That would probably be a like a small fighter or a medium fighter, a coyote. Honestly, though, if you're gonna do a coyote, that's a Drake ship. That'd be the Drake Coyote. Yeah, that just rolls off the tongue. The Drake Coyote. Hell yeah. Kruger already has the wolf as a wolf. Well, that's because it's also German. So, I wouldn't be surprised if you have a Kruger stag at some point. They're gonna have a Kruger. Was it Manta Ray or Devil Ray? Isn't that what they're doing? There is a ship in lore called the Duck. There's a famous, probably the most famous Mercury Star Runner that has ever been built. It's called the Belligerent Duck. Stinger already exists. But yeah. There's a Drake Lobster lore too. Yes, the experimental Drake Lobster that we never had. Stingray, I think it was, yeah, Stingray. Sorry, 400i is the duck. No, that's really the name of the duck. Ooh. All right, yo, it's getting late here. I gotta go to work tomorrow. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for watching. I'll be back, not tomorrow. I'll be back on Saturday. We'll be talking about item recovery. I'm going to drag some people in. I don't have anyone for the cast yet, so I'm going to have to reach out to folks. But we'll be talking about item recovery 1.0, which is coming out soon. And if item recovery is actually a good idea, we'll talk a little bit about Death of a Spaceman. We'll talk about how item recovery works now, how it will work in the future, how has it changed the game, improved it, or made it worse, and just kind of discussions on that and the insurance system and those sorts of things. So thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging out. And like I say every time, hope to see you someday in the black.